Hello people, this is Matanza Mafia-Fedora here today with episode 5 of the Irrelevant RockCast with my co-host,
Mr. DuPont.
And introducing our brand new guest speaker today,
Matt Mills.
Yeah, welcome to the Irrelevant RockCast,
Thank you very much. I'm very nervous. I'm also very insecure because you guys have amazing radio voices. I'm just sort of high-pitched British.
High-pitched British, at least you sound proper. I don't sound anything that I'm that keen on.
Yeah, thank you for the compliments. The reason why we asked Matt to join us is because since we started this rockcast, I always thought there's one other guy out there who loves metal just as much as me and Matt do, and I see him quite often. He lives in my block.
He's in my film production class.
Yeah.
He's also always at detention where we agree the DJ is not that good.
Oh, he's utter shit.
Oh, yeah, we'd do a better job.
I don't think he really knows the definition of the word alternative, because if you think Panic at the Disco is alternative, you really need to get your head checked.
Yep, there's no Metallica, there's no Korn.
There's no Guns N' Roses, there is absolutely no Billy Idol, there is nothing that we want to listen to.
There's nothing alternative. Like it's branded as like the this is where you go if you don't want to hear popular shit.
Yeah.
Literally all they play from like 9 o'clock onwards.
Yep, that's roughly it.
Crap.
Also,
Yeah. And I ended up posting a poll on the detention page the other night, and I'm happy to say that in no small part to you guys as helping me out there, it has actually got some pretty nice votes on there for the tracks.
Isn't Bon Jovi winning right now?
yeah, Bon Jovi is winning.
Only by a slight bit ahead of Guns N' Roses' Welcome to the Jungle.
Yeah, man, and Alice Cooper's doing alright.
Yeah. And yeah, feel free, like, if there are anything else that you need to add, just providing it fits into that poll's name, Rock Classics, go ahead.
Do you know what else is even funnier? Matt made this poll, and he's never been to detention, which makes it even better.
Are you even going tomorrow?
Yes, I am.
Oh, good. You're not just providing a public service.
No, actually, I did go into detention once, but I had to leave somewhat after it because I ended up having a couple of problems that I needed to attend to. But I got enough of the atmosphere already to say, no, this is definitely not my definition of alternative. This is like being cooped up in actual detention.
Nonetheless, the reason why we go is because it's still a lot of fun. We always have fun.
Oh, of course.
Lots of friends go. There is the odd tune, like The Pretender.
And there is a good chance for me to bring in Dr. Pepper and experiment with Captain Morgan to create my new brand of cocktail, Captain Pepper.
Captain Pepper, I like that.
Yeah, that's it. And another reason why we...
Or Dr. Morgan.
Yeah.
We were also impressed with the fact that Matt is a music journalist. He's also a film journalist. He's also interviewed bands the likes of Tesseract. Who else?
Tesseract, I've got an interview with Sabaton at the end of February.
We're planning on going to that.
Yeah.
Sabaton, I'm really looking forward to that. It's with Joachim, the lead singer.
Sweet.
Shout out to Sabaton, by the way.
Yes, that's at Guildhall with Aylstorm co-headline at the end of February, which clashes with detention. We'll know where we'll be.
Yeah.
We will definitely be at the Guildhall because most people who go to detention have probably never heard of Sabaton or Aylstorm.
They've probably never heard of any good metal band.
Yeah.
The irony is as well, I've just sat here, spent the last 3 minutes of my life bitching about Panic at the Disco. I'm interviewing Panic at the Disco.
Oh, wow. Where is this?
Where is this,
mate? I don't have the definites yet. I know that my publication, The National Student, I know they have an interview with Panic at the Disco, and I know I'm the first in line to get said interview. We just don't know when. It will probably be an on-the-phone job like it was when I interviewed Tesseract. So.
Oh, great, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Of all the people you interviewed in the past, have they all been nice? Have any been difficult? Have any had big egos? Or
no, they've all been absolutely lovely. James from Tesseract is probably my favourite because that was an on-the-phone interview. He answered 2.5 hours late, bless him, because the original plan was I was talking to his manager, and the manager was like, give him a call at 1 o'clock in the afternoon on this date. I was like, great, I don't have a lecture, that'll be fine. I gave him a ring. Nothing. I rung him about 3 or 4 more times. Nothing. So I emailed the manager, and he was like, "Hang on, I will quote unquote dig him out." So and yeah, I got a text. I got a text from James, and he was like, my diary's been mixed up. Give me a ring at 3:30. So I did, and he was really cool with it. Actually, it was an absolute pain in the arse, but he was a lovely guy, and we did the interview. It was about 10-15 minutes. I got some good stuff out of him, and then afterwards we just sort of texted and chatted for a good while.
If people want to listen to this, what's the website?
It's thenationalstudent.com, all one word. Just type in Tesseract in the search bar, it'll be the first thing.
Nice.
It is not an actual audio interview, it's a transcription. I had to write it up.
Has their gig at the Wedge happened yet?
No, that's the 11th of February, and I'll be doing a review of that.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, I've seen Tesseract once before. I saw them in 2012 at the Engine Rooms in Southampton with Devin Townsend and Fear Factory.
That's a good lineup,
Right,
right there.
and it was absolutely brilliant. It was like 16 quid. It was awesome. And
I've seen them twice. I saw them at Sonosphere 2014.
Oh yes,
That's what
I
got
was
me
in
into them.
I was in Hyde Park that weekend for the Sabbath Faith No More Soundgarden thing, which is why I wasn't there
that's
that
a decent
weekend.
excuse.
Yeah.
But that was their first show with because they had their original singer, a guy called Dan, and then he left, and then they got Ash.
I've heard about the singer situation.
Yeah, and then Dan came back, and Sonosphere 2014 was his first show with Tesseract.
It's not a bad way to come back, is it? Sonosphere.
Yeah,
big crowd.
I wouldn't have known, because I knew nothing about Tesseract at that point. I just knew I liked it, and I did not know that was his first show back with them. He really, really nailed it that night. And then I saw them again in November of the same year, November 2014. I saw them at the Talking Heads in Southampton, headlining.
Yep.
A venue which is being moved, by the way.
It's where
Polygon area now.
It's where the Maple Leaf used to be now, isn't it?
Yeah, essentially, Talking Heads is a legendary Southampton pub/music venue in the Portswood area, not too far from the Hobbit and Beavers Valley area, which is ideal for student life.
Yeah.
A lot of people who live around there love rock music in general, and yeah, the venue is being moved. It's not even going to be called the Talk, but it's essentially closing down, and its replacement is being moved into the Polygon area in town, which is overall a good thing because it's in town. But at the same time, we do love the Talking Heads, and the Talking Heads actually nearly closed down about 3-4 years ago, and then there was a big Facebook campaign saying "Save our heads."
Save our heads. That was the one. Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, and we were like, yes, and then it nearly happened to the Joiners, which would have been horrible. But the Joiners stayed alive. The Joiners is awesome. However, for me, lately over the past year, not enough hard rock and heavy metal. So over the past year, I look at the Joiners lineup of events, and for me, over the past year, there hasn't been enough hard rock and heavy metal.
It's funny you should say that, actually. Sorry to interrupt, but it's funny you should say that, because on the 3rd of March, there's a hard rock band that's going to be there.
Oh, is it?
A band called Wilson.
Wilson, I've seen them. I saw them support Hailstorm. And,
I was there as well, man.
Yeah.
At the Guildhall.
Yes.
Yeah, man, I was at that gig.
Nifty.
It was a really good show. I actually managed to say hi to the lads after the show, because they were at the merch stand.
Oh, okay.
I managed to say hi to them, and... So we're getting completely sidetracked. By the
No,
way.
do it, man. That's
No.
what we can do on this podcast. That's what it's here for.
I managed to talk to them at the merch stand afterwards. I was wearing like my denim jacket, had like Machine Head patches, Metallica, Slayer patches all over it. I managed to chat with them. They signed my ticket, and their drummer, who's also named Matt, because
it's a very common name.
Yeah, well,
It's a semi-common name.
I like to think of it as popular, not common.
Yeah.
The drummer called Matt. He said he would quote unquote trade his balls for my denim jacket, which I thought was a lovely little sentiment.
Oh my.
That's excellent.
I wouldn't really want his balls. I'd rather keep the jacket.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was really cool night as well.
All right, sweet. By the way, for me that night, Nothing More stole the show, in my opinion. I thought Nothing More were absolutely incredible.
Nothing More amazing. Nothing More the reason I went.
Yeah, to be honest, I actually thought that night that Hailstorm were the shittest band, like performance-wise. I generally thought the support acts were... I know she had a sore throat.
Yeah,
you told me about this,
I
actually.
know what a good live band Hailstorm are. I've seen them at Download. I've also, in 2012, I also saw them supporting Bullet for My Valentine one year. I saw them supporting Alter Bridge, so I've seen them 4 times.
I saw them support
yeah, and they were awesome all of those times. It was just at Guildhall, the crowd weren't that enthusiastic, and Lizzie's voice were bad. Yeah. What was your view on that night? This is going back 10 months, by the way.
This is going back to like the beginning of 2015.
Yeah.
We're reliving the olden days right now.
Yes.
And,
the best year to be a film fan.
Oh, yes. And what was I saying? What were we talking about?
Hailstorm.
Yeah.
Just about the performance.
Yeah, she wasn't. She was saying in between songs like her voice is gone. Pretty much, she was feeling ill, and like the crowd wasn't that into it. And there was a guy like sort of next to me. I didn't know him, but I heard him talking to his mate. And like Lizzie was explaining like, oh yeah, my voice is really crap, I'm really sorry I can't sing. And this guy next to me just sort of turned to his mate and said, I actually feel really bad because I feel like as a crowd we're forcing her to do something that's straining her voice.
I very much agree.
with that.
And she said we don't cancel shows.
Yeah, and I was just going to say, like, I agree, and, it is really annoying, because actually, at the times when, I actually don't care what the crowd thinks in that position. If she can't perform, and she's really just prepared to go up, even if she doesn't sound on form, she is still worthy of, being commended, because she clearly cares more about her fans than they seem to at that point care about her.
Honestly, I think I would have been happy if it was just Wilson and nothing more that night. Like,
totally. Would have got your money's more just for them.
Nothing more could have headlined, and I would have been completely satisfied.
Yep, and this, unfortunately, is the state of rock, and this may lead into an entirely new thing. It's just going to a point I'm going to quickly make.
Yeah.
Is that it is unfortunate that very good bands like Nothing More and Wilson haven't really picked up since then in terms of fans, but that is just the state of music at the moment. You've got these really good smaller bands whose audience unfortunately can't grow, even though there's so much potential there.
The system's sort of keeping them down because record sales in general, like in today's day and age, I sound like an old fart, but record sales in today's day and age generally aren't as good as they would have been in the 80s and 90s, purely because of streaming and Spotify.
Even new metal days as well.
Yeah, and actually, you're not an old fart for saying that. You're just someone who's speaking the truth, and believe me, I'd say just as much.
That's it. I mean, the three of us could form the greatest metal band at Winchester Uni.
but that wouldn't be saying much because there isn't much competition.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, yeah, true, yes. That's true.
Best metal band in Winchester Uni is like being the most attractive man in the Burns unit.
Yeah, okay, let's say this. Imagine if we formed a band and we could headline the Joiners and sell the place out. That still doesn't guarantee us any kind of career, like long term.
The thing is though, like the next Metallica could be out there right now, but we wouldn't know. Because metal is such a niche thing that it's not promoted.
And that's why people need to go out there and go to joiners-sized venues and support smaller bands like Wilson.
Because it's so hard. Cause, like, we live in like the age of quote-unquote internet bands now. Right?
Yeah, every single internet band essentially just makes the backing track to a very annoying advert that you'd get on TV, or even worse, elevator music. Upbeat, repetitive, and incredibly bad on the ears.
Oh yeah.
That's right. But yeah, you were talking about what started all of this. We started talking about, what was it? You're going to see. Oh, you first saw Tesseract at the Talking Heads. You said.
Well, that was the second time I saw them. Talking Heads,
second
November
time.
2014.
And so coming up will be the third.
Yeah, third gig on the 11th of February at Wedgwood Rooms. Everyone go. They're a great band if you don't know them. Really lovely guys.
And British band as well.
Yeah. British, Milton Keynes, I think.
They're from Milton Keynes.
If I remember rightly, don't quote me on that.
That's right.
Milton Keynes, the most American city in the whole of the United Kingdom.
That's right.
I have to say that because I have been there. It is very much designed the way you'd expect a very microscopic New York condensed high street to look like.
I wouldn't know, I've never been there. I'm not going to...
Take my word on that and then just Google it if you don't believe me.
I'm not going to pass judgment. Shout out to our fans in Milton Keynes.
Yes.
I'm not
the one fan, if there is one.
I'm not passing judgment.
We were saying before, we've got like 80 fans. We now have 79.
The Milton Keynes guy now hates
the one guy from Milton Keynes is like unsubscribed from the SoundCloud.
Mate, it's an observation, not an insult, nor is it a compliment.
That's it. But anyway, to all our listeners, Matt Mills, special guest. And woo! Okay, now let's go into the news. One thing that we have to talk about, it's all over the internet. It's something that all three of us know about. It's even something that Mr. Matt Mills here has spoken about, and it's something that I showed Matt with a hat last night.
I like that.
Yes.
Matt with a hat, we're keeping that.
Yeah, well that's it. It already exists.
Yep. It already exists, but as does my other name, my Twitter name.
Yep.
Indeed, which he mentioned at the beginning of the podcast. But anyway, it's essentially Phil Anselmo at being racist on stage by shouting, what's it, White Power.
White Power, and he was doing a Nazi-style sort of salute as well,
So
which
yeah,
is fucking horrible.
yeah, and he made the inside joke that it was meant to be about white wine, but I saw Rob Flynn's video just now.
Yeah, everyone go and watch the Rob Flynn video, because that is probably the most intellectual takedown of Phil Anselmo you are going to see.
Yeah, and it is just like appalling. This is actually something that is going to probably come up a little bit later on when we talk about another topic, but keeping purely on Phil Anselmo at this point, we'll just say racism has no place in metal, and this is easily the most controversial issue that's come out since Eric Clapton quoted Enoch Powell and his Rivers of Blood speech, talking about keeping his country white.
Well, this is it as well. Like, you talk about like no place for racism in metal, and that's very true. But like, you guys have seen the YouTube video.
Yeah,
we have.
YouTuber called Chris R uploaded it.
Yes. Sorry to interrupt, but one thing that we haven't mentioned: this event happened at the Dime Bash 2016 in Florida. So essentially, the musicians are there paying tribute to former bandmate. Well, it is for Phil. I'm not sure if Rex was there, and I presume Vinnie Paul was there. Vinnie Paul, his brother, I presume, as well.
I don't think Vinnie Paul was there purely because Phil Anselmo was there.
Oh, yes, they don't get along, do they?
No.
That's a bit of an understatement.
Yeah, but essentially, people with the likes of Rob Flynn and Dave Grohl were all there to tribute. I presume this is a yearly thing, because it's only something I've recently heard.
It's the fifth Dime Bash.
Right.
Which makes this, I believe this is what you were going to touch on, this makes it even worse, because a event that was dedicated to the memory, the life and influence and talent of Dimebag Darrell, and like raising money for the Ronnie James Dio Stand Up and Shout Cancer Fund. It was meant to be about that, but now Phil Anselmo, sickeningly, has all the spotlight now.
Yeah.
Like, people leaving that event were not talking about Dimebag Darrell. They were not talking about Ronnie James Dio. They were not talking about raising money for cancer. They were talking about a racist and deluded singer.
Yeah. And
yes.
And just getting back, like you were saying some other stuff, just like of maybe leading into where you just did, but also, irony sells, and it is a very, very weird type of humour, because you get the bitter type, and then you get the irony that is sweet to the ear. And this is the most bitter sounding, tasting irony that you can possibly get, because, well, imagine saying white power, and then your subgenre comes from a genre of music that has been, by extension, the product of black African-American music.
I did not think of that. That's a really good point, because Elvis was one of the first rock and roll artists, and critics at the time were saying that he stole black music.
Yeah, and
so it's an extension of that.
Yeah, and it's just like Elvis essentially made the gateway, even though I'm not the world's biggest Elvis fan, just for, Chuck Berry's music and B.B. King's music, just to get more of a spotlight out there. And then when you think of people like Eric Clapton, who proudly profess to being like that, but then on stage do something so absurd like that, you think, what is going on with the world?
Man.
I think, okay, I'm a Pantera fan. I also love Down, and I think this is... Phil Anselmo has done a lot of stupid things in his career.
Oh, of course.
But I think this is the worst.
This is the least... That's the wrong way of putting it. This is the most inexcusable.
Absolutely.
He has issued a formal apology.
Yes, he has.
Like a video saying, I'm sorry, blah, 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 blah. And
he didn't really give an excuse for why he did it. He apologised, and he said he'd had a lot to drink. He didn't actually mention the white wine bit in the video, which makes...
Because Rob Flynn's taken that down already. Rob Flynn's
absolutely.
Destroyed that sentiment.
Totally. Apparently he was drinking Beck's, a German beer. There was no white wine backstage whatsoever.
No.
And I want to say this much very quickly. There is such an anti-German air whenever you talk about World War II that... Excuse me. But it makes me sick, because you can tell here in the UK that even though we have mainly gotten over it, whenever someone talks adamantly against, the horrific acts about Nazism, they fail to remember that Germany was actually the first colony of Hitler's Nazi empire, essentially. So the Aryan ideology is something that very few people in Germany supported. And if you want a true film that will tell you the truth about it, take a look at Valkyrie, directed by Bryan Singer, starring Tom Cruise. And also, go to Germany and see the stuff in Berlin that they did as memorials to all the Holocaust victims. Don't forget that.
I went to because I've been to Poland, I've been to Auschwitz,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Like it is very eye-opening. Again, this is sort of a bit of a sidetrack from the Phil Anselmo thing, but like, it is very eye-opening.
Yeah.
Very eye-opening experience. And Poland's a very metal country, actually. Like every other shop in Krakow where I went was like a used record store, second-hand record store. It was lovely, brilliant place.
Yeah.
And also the way he said white power was kind of very aggressive. And he didn't do the Nazi salute once, he did it twice. He did it to start with, and then he said it, and then he left the stage and he did it again.
Like when I wrote about it, I used the verb of bellowed. Bellowed white power. I think that's the best way to.
Yeah.
It was proud. It was aggressive. Like
It was visceral as you could possibly make
it was so
His excuse was basically he was drunk, and it's kind of like, what? So you're just going to get drunk at an event where you know that you're one of the reasons why Pantera basically broke up in the first place? Because Phil Anselmo, has said in the past that he's proud and he knows that Pantera is like splitting. I know they hadn't officially broken up, but it was his side projects. You had the three other guys wanting to get going, and then you had Phil forming Down,
Superjoint Ritual.
Superjoint Ritual, and obviously I know much later he's now in the Illegals, which is his solo band.
Phil Anselmo. I don't listen to Superjoint Ritual or the Illegals. I listen to Down, and that's it. Just because Phil Anselmo is like my least favourite person in Pantera.
Yeah, one thing we will say about Phil is. Well, actually, really what Rob Flynn said is that some people are scared because they love Phil so much, just because he is this macho, tough guy who is like badass motherfucker. But we were basically saying about how he shouldn't get away with this more so than anyone. We were saying that if, like you said, if Lars Ulrich did this...
If Justin Bieber did this, heads would roll, quote unquote, Rob Flynn.
Yes.
Yeah, and Bieber, you could tell it would even be much harder, even if this wasn't a controversial issue because of the issue going down, Bieber would actually get it much worse simply for the fact his ancestors are German and he doesn't even know what German is. You'll remember. Yes, Justin, we are coming back to bite you with some age-old karma.
Justin Bieber, like, what is a Germany?
Yeah, basically, German, said the Kiwi who was interviewing him, and he was like, I don't know what that means. We don't say that in America. You're Canadian, mate. You're supposed to, have the same sort of relationship with the States that England and Wales have, and vice versa.
That's a very horrible relationship they have then.
Yeah, well, we joke about that. Basically, the English and the Welsh have actually got a pretty decent relationship working-wise, but, we still have a couple of groups similar to such and such on both sides of the border, like the Free Wales Army, maybe in Glinda, where the EDL and the EFGH that will actually make a bunch of spats at each other for unjust reasons, and, well, let's just say that Canada's got a very similar sort of relationship to what their history is, but getting a bit sidetracked, let's just say, yeah, stupidity is a very, 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 very contagious disease, it seems.
Stupidity knows no nationality.
Yeah.
It is a universal concept. And talking about Justin Bieber, he was dead to me the second he did a cover of Fade to Black.
He did what?
I didn't even know this happened. By the way, we won't talk about Bieber for too much longer, but go on. This is something I haven't heard about.
This is something we have to know.
Yes.
There aren't enough quotation marks in the world to go around the word cover. But it's on YouTube. I think it went viral. I'm not proud of myself for having seen it. I had many showers afterwards. It was they do not make water hot enough. And it was him and some douchebag on a guitar. And the guy on the guitar was like doing the main dun 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 dun, so that bit. Yeah. And Justin Bieber was humming the solo.
Humming.
What even playing the solo? He was going, whoa, like that.
Actually, I've got two things to add. We know Justin Bieber is a Metallica fan because he was on the Ellen Show wearing a Metallica shirt lately.
Oh, God.
Have you guys heard
if that wasn't bad enough.
Yes.
I'll tell you what's worse than that, though, is that Kim Kardashian I've seen wearing a Slayer shirt.
Wow.
And I've also seen Gary Holt wearing a t-shirt saying kill the Kardashians, so it's gone full circle.
It has, yes. That's right. Well, the other thing I was going to mention, is that whenever I think of Fade to Black, it's a lovely, beautiful ballad from Ride the Lightning. However, whenever I think of it though, I can't help but think of it being the song when James Hetfield's arm got burned and he nearly died.
Oh yeah, of course, man.
Whenever I think of it, I just think of Magnesium Bomb. That's just all I think of. When I saw them play at Sonosphere 2011, which was magical, I just thought, whenever I hear this, I just think James Hetfield's going to get burned.
Yeah. The first solo for Fade to Black comes out and the entire audience is on edge.
Yes.
Will you die?
And also, why on earth would Bieber want to cover that? Because it's essentially a song about giving up on life, and according to his ego, he has much that he still wants to profess about himself.
Yeah.
That's true. But anyway, going back to Phil Anselmo.
Yep. Let's focus this.
Yes. He. The thing is that I have watched Pantera Behind the Music, and I know that this is going way back.
Way back when?
Yeah, this is going way back to about 2002, and which you could say has no relevance to what he did. But it kind of does, because you realise that Phil Anselmo is just a massive arsehole, and this is just the next thing to his list, really.
Yeah.
Have you seen? Do you guys watch or read Loudwire? The online.
Oh yes, I do read.
Have you seen their Wikipedia Fact or Fiction series?
No.
I haven't seen that. No.
Oh, it's a brilliant series online. Shout out to Loudwire, love those guys. And they do a segment called Wikipedia Fact or Fiction. Well, they take a metal or hard rock sort of celebrity. They read them facts from their Wikipedia article, or the band's Wikipedia article, like the Wikipedia article of an album they made, and they sort of do a true or false with it.
Yeah.
So a fact or fiction game, pretty much. And Phil Anselmo was on doing a fact or fiction about Pantera, Down, Superjoint Ritual, sort of doing a fact or fiction. And he was just such... I think he might have been high, because he was such a colossal douchebag to the host. I can't remember the name of the host. I think his name's Graham Hartman. That was his name. Phil Anselmo was just a colossal aggressive douchebag, and it was really hard to watch.
No, I agree. The thing is, Phil isn't always like that. Like when I listened to the latest That's Not Metal podcast. Shout out to Hill and Bees, by the way, two absolute awesome people, both I've met, both absolute gentlemen to me, I must say. I listened to it, and that's actually, believe it or not, I first heard about this White Power Phil Anselmo thing on that podcast, because I listen to it weekly. I listen to it every Friday, because it comes out Friday mornings, and I always listen to it after my lecture. And that they mentioned it on there, and they were saying it's such a shame because they've both met Phil several times, and they've said what an absolute gent he's been. And he seems to be quite bipolar almost. He's hot and cold, because he did when he was a heroin addict, in the 90s. He said, and when he used to tell the audience to beat each other up, and if they didn't, he'd have a go at them. It's basically, I expect a reaction from the audience, and if I don't get it, I'm gonna fucking tell them. Yeah. He basically said he used to think he was the guy who was indestructible, who no matter what anyone said or what anyone did. Nothing, he was the king. He was the beast of a frontman that is Philip H. Anselmo from Pantera and the other bands we've mentioned. And obviously, since Dimebag's death, he has overall behaved himself, I'd say.
He's not been, I guess he sort of avoided that controversial limelight.
Until now.
I like to think it was a wake-up call for him. Obviously, now, with the whole white power outburst...
And it's all over the internet, And
so, it wasn't really not many publications really tackled him on it.
Oh, totally.
They only really did articles on it a week after Rob Flynn did his shtick.
Yeah.
That's only when articles on it came out.
Yeah. And no, it's
350,000 views on YouTube with that footage of him going white power and doing the Nazi salute and all that. Yeah. None of these metal publications tried to take him down.
No.
Even the ones that did cover it didn't do so in a negative light. They were so matter of fact. Phil Anselmo says white power.
Yeah.
One thing I quickly will say, just wrapping this up. Down are playing at Download. No pun intended.
Yeah, that's fine.
What's it? Download. Phil Anselmo.
Don't worry. The pun was not intended. Continue.
No, that's just me being my inner comedian. That's the thing. You're dealing with two stand-ups here, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I
You're sandwiched between two stand-ups.
But you're looking at a wisecracking Wintonian wordsmith.
Yeah, true. All I can say is that I was really looking forward to watching Down at Download, but I don't know if I am now. Because
I don't really care.
Oh, really?
I don't care.
Can you actually, before we go, can you explain before what happened why you hate Phil Anselmo in like a minute?
Probably not. I was indifferent to Phil Anselmo, and then this happened, and now I hate him. Cause I hear about what he did with Pantera, but that was always like back in 2003, 2004. So I didn't really judge him too harshly on it. So I was really indifferent to him. Then this happened. Now I hate him. Yeah. Now I hate his guts.
The guy who used to think he was indestructible is now hated, and as Rob Flynn said, is just a big bully.
Yeah. That's Rob Flynn's impersonation of Phil Anselmo in that video was spot on as well.
Yeah,
for sure. Sort of that rough southern New Orleans accent.
That's it.
Yeah, exactly. And I will say this much: kudos to Rob. Kudos to Chris R, the person who he credited in that vid.
Yeah, the guy who uploaded the video.
Yeah.
Shout out to Chris R, shout out to Rob Flynn.
Yeah, shout out to the both of you. You lads definitely do deserve medals for your contribution to heavy metal music, for your career, Rob, and for your honesty, Chris. Good one on you.
For sure. Anyway, moving on, the next thing that we are going to talk about is it's happened again, more sad news. There's been more deaths in the world of hard rock and heavy metal, music, and even DJs, unfortunately. I'm going to mention the list. If you guys want to contribute, I'll do the main one we're going to talk about last, if that's okay.
That's fine.
Unfortunately, today, the day we're recording, we've lost legendary British DJ Sir Terry Wogan, who has died aged 77. Apparently from illness. I'm not sure the reason. Do you guys know?
I haven't seen the reason yet, no.
I was told cancer, but I don't know if that's
cancer.
Truthful.
As you say, the big C.
The big
As
C.
most people say, the big C.
That's like the old American dad joke. I'm in hospital because I was hit by the big C. It fell off the Coca-Cola sign, landed around my head.
Well, yeah, that's basically it. Now the big letter C from the Coca-Cola sign fell right on top of her.
That's the one. That's the one.
Yeah.
Carry on, sorry.
No, it's all right. More sad news. We've also lost British actor Frank Finlay, who died age 89. Over the past week or so, British singer-songwriter known as Black died in a car crash at age 53. He's best known for a song called Wonderful Life. I know that song. I knew it before his death. That's the only thing I knew about him.
I knew the Alter Bridge song, Wonderful Life.
Oh, yeah, I know that song as well.
That's a good song.
It is a very good album. But yeah, it's still sad news to know that a guy who's actually talented, and that song is beautiful. If you get the chance to hear it, it's not good to think of someone as a one-hit wonder, but to a lot of people he was. And, a few days later, the lead guitarist from Jefferson Airplane, Paul Cantor, died at age 74. I'm going to be honest, I've never listened to Jefferson Airplane. I've listened to Jefferson Starship and Starship, the band, for Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now and We Built This City. I'm not sure if he played on those songs, but he died age 74. Have you guys ever listened to Jefferson Airplane?
Not really. They weren't really my thing.
Yeah, they're a 60s American band.
I'm gonna be honest. I feel really harsh, but I didn't even know. I've never even heard their name before a few days ago. When obviously R.I.P. to Jeff. It's sad when anyone dies, and I wasn't a massive fan, but I didn't know.
Oh, got you. Paul, you mean? I thought you said Jeff.
Oh God.
No, don't worry. That's all right. The last. Don't worry, Matt. These things happen on this podcast. The last musician I can remember dying called Jeff was Jeff Hanneman from Slayer. I was sad, but that was a while ago. And last but not least, don't worry. You can get the audience back now, man.
Oh, I feel really bad. Apologies to any Jefferson Airplane, Jefferson Starship. Any fans of any
Jefferson Super Train fans?
Yeah, any Jefferson trains, Jefferson hovercrafts. I apologise to all of you.
That's fine. But last but not least, on a sad note, as is everything else, we're sorry that we're laughing. It's just you can understand.
Yeah.
It's me being an arsehole. I apologise in advance.
It's fine. Legendary Scottish bass player Jimmy Bain, who died aged 68 from pneumonia, best known as being the bass player in Rainbow, or also known as Richie Blackmore's Rainbow for the first two albums, and the first three or four Dio albums in the classic lineup of Dio. So yeah, I found out, and I thought it was very sad. We've lost another iconic bass player.
Yeah, whenever I think of Jimmy Bain, there's always two words that come to mind, and those two words are Holy Diver. Because he played in that album. It was an amazing album.
That's one of my signature tracks.
Yeah, man. Holy, the entire album was amazing.
Yeah, phenomenal album.
That was one of the albums that made me a metalhead. Like, then as I got older, I listened to Last in Line, which is another great album.
Yes, and let's just say that his work with Dio, because obviously Dio was the singer in Rainbow.
Yeah.
During the time when he was in the band, and obviously Richie Blackmore, being a dick as he always is, ended up falling out with both Dio and Bain, which obviously led to them both leaving. And then obviously later, we obviously know about Dio fronting Black Sabbath and then forming Dio after. But he's played on Rainbow Rising, he's played on Holy Diver, The Last in Line, he's played on some true metal classics.
He's probably the greatest bassist that not that many people actually knew about.
Yeah, or talk about.
I don't think it's disrespectful to say that he wasn't like a household name as much as
Steve Harris,
Cliff Burton, or Tom Araya, or
totally.
But he played on some great albums and did great performances in all of them.
So, for sure.
Massive, condolences to his family and all that, and it's horrible.
No, it is horrible. And he was actually, they found out that he died, it was pneumonia, and he was actually on like a Def Leppard cruise playing with the Last in Line. Also Vivian Campbell, who was obviously in Dio and now in Def Leppard, or has been for a long time. He's also in the band. The classic Dio lineup, you got Dio on vocals, you got Vivian Campbell on lead guitar, you've got Jimmy Bain on bass, and you had on drums, it was...
Oh God, I know who it is because he plays in Kill Devil Hill now.
Yes. No, I don't.
He plays with Rex Brown in Kill Devil Hill.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know. We can't. We know who it is. We just can't think of his name.
God, I'm terrible at this today.
Yeah.
No, Matt, don't worry, mate.
I've offended the entirety of Jefferson Starship fans. I've offended Dio fans now because I don't know their drummer.
Hey, don't worry, mate. Don't worry. These things happen, and believe me, I've done things just as bad.
So Matt, who's the Dio drummer?
I do not know. Hey, I'll
tell you what, I'll go home.
If I did know, I would have already said it, mate.
I'll tell you what, I'll go home. I'm going to go home, I'm going to go on Wikipedia next week. The first thing I say will be the name of the drummer from Dio. I'm going to hold that.
The reason why I started mentioning the lineup was I was just saying they were a super group, those four guys, because of the other projects they've done.
Yeah.
You had a band of four people who are all successful with other projects. I know that happened a lot in the 70s and 80s, but like we said, those first two Dio albums, not many metal bands can top them in terms of albums 1 and 2. I would actually even go to say this. Now, this is quite controversial. I would even say the first two Dio albums are stronger than the first two Iron Maiden albums with Paul Di'Anno on vocals. Would you agree with that?
I'd agree.
Yeah.
I'd go further than that. I'd say the first two Dio albums are better than any Black Sabbath record.
Oh, I'll tell you what, I'm about equal with that. I'd say they're both about strong. Matt, however, is a big Sabbath fan.
Oh God, I am. Have I poked the beast?
No, you haven't poked the beast. Don't worry. I was just gonna say, I see where you're coming from, man. Sorry, my tongue got caught there.
That's fine.
But yeah, I would agree. Musically, yeah, that might actually be true. As far as what I get out of everything, I would say Dio, yeah, I can listen to them, but Sabbath just still, they've got this weird way of connecting with me that probably puts them a little bit higher, just because when I think heavy metal, Sabbath kind of come to mind first. And with Dio, I think it just depends. If I'm in a mood for listening to them, I'll get the full feel. But I am so on and off depending on what my mood is. I almost have this sort of weird, not going to say bipolar effect with music, but I'll just say if I get in a mood for listening to Dio, I need to be in the right mood to get the full feel. And yeah, when I am in that mode of thought, I think I would say, yeah, I agree with you, Alex. I'm about equal with that.
Yeah. Or you could put Black Sabbath and Dio together and have Heaven and Hell.
Of course.
Yeah.
Well, which one's heaven?
Yeah.
Which one's heaven?
Dio's heaven.
I have
and
to
can
say
Can I just clarify? No disrespect to Black Sabbath, because
Not at all.
I may not be a massive fan of their music, but I definitely respect what they've done for the heavy metal world.
Yeah.
Do you prefer Black Sabbath with Dio or Ozzy?
Dio, 10 times.
No.
Heaven and Hell is my favourite Sabbath record.
Okay, yeah, I know a lot of people who said that. Eddie Trunk, who's the hard rock and heavy metal journalist and DJ from VH1, his favourite Black Sabbath album is Heaven and Hell. But that's because he was a huge Dio fan.
Yeah.
And, I was saying, actually wrapping up this segment, I think this is tribute.
Yeah.
I remember in 2010 when Paul Gray and Dio died in the space of about 2 weeks of each other.
Horrible.
Yeah, now that was horrible. And for me, there hasn't been this array of musical deaths since then that have meant something to me until the last 2 months.
Yeah.
For me, there hasn't been as much boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, the summer of 2010 was horrible, and this
Yes.
sort of period, since the December 2015 to now, have been starting with like Lemmy's death.
I'd say Weiland.
then-
I'd
I'd
say-
say Scott
Yes, of
Weiland.
course.
I'd say it's a very sad time within the period of December 2015 coming up to the end of January 2016.
February, yeah.
This is the worst time on the planet to be a rock fan.
Yeah, definitely.
And also the news with Phil Anselmo does not help whatsoever,
No, it does not
you bastard.
That was really. You suddenly became really aggressive. Like, we were talking about Philip Anselmo like 10 minutes ago. You weren't as aggressive then.
Hey, we have the right to do it, and actually, you see, Matt, that is what's called a delayed reaction.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Well, it's not that, it just makes me think that all this news, and the biggest news to come out of rock, apart from the deaths, is what Phil Anselmo's done.
And even then, what he did was at a show dedicated to a dead
rock
metal
star.
So it's just the entire metal world is full of death and horribleness.
And no wonder people can't get into it. No wonder the younger generation don't.
But
Yeah.
Rob Flynn.
But we do have Rob Flynn, Machine Head. Bloodstones and Diamonds was a great record.
And we-
Bloodstones and Diamonds is my favourite Machine Head.
Oh, nice one, man.
And we-
Very close second is the Blackening.
I'll tell you what, how about next week we'll talk about Machine Head?
I could talk about Machine Head for 3 hours, never mind an hour and a half.
Okay, yeah, nice one. Sorry, Matt.
I was going to
to
say.
Yep.
Yeah, and despite all the bad stuff that we do have, I need to say to the younger gen that might be tuning in here, we still have exactly 61 years of back catalogue of great rock and roll anthems for you to enjoy and for you to take inspiration from on the record, not the douchebags off the record.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, like I might, mock Phil Anselmo as the person and hate Phil Anselmo as the person, but the 5 Pantera records, go out and buy them.
Yeah, and also another thing, I know this is weird, but
Yeah.
the day Phil Anselmo dies will still be sad, just because he's sung on so many classics,
Yeah.
like Walk, Cowboys from Hell, Psycho Holiday, Cemetery Gates, to name a few.
Cemetery Gates is my favourite Pantera song.
Oh, is it?
Because I think it does show off the skills of the entire band.
Excellent.
It does show that Phil Anselmo, he can scream his lungs out, but that shows he can do some melodic, calmer stuff as well.
Yeah.
And it shows Dimebag on the acoustic as well.
Excellent. All right.
Indeed.
We're wrapping up the segment on more sad news.
Yep.
Please, next week, no more sad news. I don't want to jinx it again. That's what people at work have been saying to me.
Hey, but please, guys, just please, don't die, don't make any stupid remarks, and for the love of God, more important than that still, do not, I repeat, do not release a crappy album.
Very true.
Okay, going on now, next topic, we're going to be talking about, actually, going back to November with the Paris Attacks. The band on stage were Eagles of Death Metal, a band I have seen before, a band that's fame has gone up. Obviously, a lot of news because of the news of the Paris Attacks and them being the surviving band on stage of the evening of the tragic evening. And yeah, Eagles of Death Metal have been nominated for a Brit Award for Best International Band, which in my opinion is fucking ridiculous for about 10 different reasons.
I have mixed emotions about it. I think it's horrible, of course, purely because they're just getting nominated for an award. Knowing the Brits, they're only getting nominated because they're a political hotspot, and in many ways still are. But at the same time, they went through such a horrible set, horrible months afterwards getting over that that I think they do deserve some recognition for the crap that they went through.
No, I agree, but I think they've got enough recognition without going on a terrible award show. I'll tell you what. No, I agree. Do you guys agree? Don't worry if you don't. You can disagree with me. That's what this podcast's for. I think the Brits are horrible. I have seen full episodes before. I'm glad I've seen them because then you get an insight into shit television.
Yeah.
And also, what is an award? What is a Brit? What does it mean to you? Like, to me, the only time the Brits meant something was when Iron Maiden won award for Best Live Band and when The Darkness won about 4, because at the time The Darkness deserved it.
This is what actually really got me feeling a little bit weird about your comments earlier, because I showed you a video that you yourself showed me saying that, if they win Brit Awards, they're not metal, and then the logical conclusion was it doesn't matter if they do it. Iron Maiden are clearly metal, and they've won Brit Awards. But look, the thing that I don't understand is, how that thing actually connected and why it differed with the Eagles of Death Metal. Then you told me, and you went into, because of all the recognition. I get your point, but I don't necessarily agree with it. I think, in terms of artistic integrity, you don't want them to be recognised purely for a sympathy factor.
No, but that's why they're there, Matt. That's why they're there.
But, on that basis, at least it's doing something for the metal community that, would be better than if Bieber simply got shot up and they gave him a posthumous Brit. Just to give him that.
And that's the other side of the argument that I agree with.
Yeah.
And you were saying, Alex, do the Brit Awards even matter? Who gives a flying fuck?
Yeah, so you could say, why do I give a fuck? The reason why I...
It all goes back to Heath Ledger's posthumous Joker performance.
For me, if the Eagles of Death Metal were getting nominated for their latest album and people enjoying it, I'd say fair play, guys.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that if it wasn't them, let's just say if it wasn't Eagles of Death Metal and it was Baby Godzilla, now known as Heck.
Yeah.
If it was them playing that night, they would probably be nominated for a Brit Award. So what I'm saying is that I hope, this is what I want to happen. I will be a happy man if at the Brit Awards the Eagles of Death Metal play live on TV one of their silly songs, which we know how they have many.
I think that could redeem them. I think that could redeem.
No, but if they don't, then I'll stand by what I've said. If they get nominated for an award, and they probably won't win.
They probably won't even be there.
Yeah, probably not.
I don't think they'll even be there.
The band have said that they're happy, that they do feel honoured to be nominated for a Brit. I haven't made a list, but the other acts who are nominated for Best International Group...
U2 are one of them, I think.
They're the only remotely rocky band, aren't they?
What about U2?
U2 are in there, but I didn't like their latest album.
Well, I know. But at
I
the
still
same
can't
time,
get it off my sodding iPod. So,
because of what happened with that.
Oh God! We're going back into 2014.
I know the controversy. Believe
I
me.
can't get the bloody thing up. But you were saying, I wanted to make this point. The only Brit Awards ceremony I've seen was 2014, and that was purely because my media studies teacher. I was at college at the time. My media studies teacher, guy named Dell, loveliest guy in the world. He said, right, I want you guys to watch the Brit Awards just for research or whatever the fuck it was. I can't remember. And I watched the entire ceremony. The Arctic Monkeys got 1 million awards for their, I think it was their A.
I remember that's when he dropped the microphone.
That's when he got rip roaring drunk.
No, I did quite like his speech though.
That pesky rock and roll, it won't go away, will it?
Yeah, I did quite like that. That was the only thing about the evening. I quite liked his arrogant speech at the end.
Surely that demonstrates no one gives a crap about the Brit Awards.
True.
If he can...
No one gives a crap about the majority of people at the Brit Awards and by extension the brand of the Brit Awards.
They've totally devalued themselves.
Yeah.
The only people who think that winning a Brit means anything are the same group of people who watch X Factor, Strictly, Big Brother and all the crap. And listen to the top 40 every week and think it's the only thing out there when there isn't. There's what we're talking about on this podcast.
And ironically, it seems the only award show that even has any credibility left to its name, aside from maybe, with an extension, the Emmys, is the BAFTAs, because the BAFTAs don't have the same controversy that the Oscars have, and they are pretty much just as important.
I like the Revolver of the Golden Gods.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good, but that's very much made for this kind of thing. It's very much part of the hard rock and heavy metal world that you will only know if you're into this.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And
But because of that, because they don't have the mainstream attention, they can take more risks.
Yeah.
And like, you know, if say you like you're the Brits or even the Grammys, like Adele puts out an album, it's mediocre.
Yeah.
and it sells like 10 million
But it
after
sells
like
10
million after like a year.
Fantastic. But say, I don't know, I'm trying to think of a...
It's Coldplay.
Yeah, say Coldplay put out... This really isn't going to help the point. But say Coldplay put out an amazing album.
Yeah.
Because they're not Adele, they're not going to get...
Hang on, Coldplay's a bad example.
It is
Coldplay, okay.
We
Let
have
me
mutually agreed
Okay,
that
so
we
we'll
hate.
use Tesseract. We'll use Tesseract as an example, right?
Yes, Five Finger Death Punch.
Five Finger Death
Yes,
Punch.
do you know why? Because they're big enough to be nominated for a Brit Award.
Yeah, man. But they'd never win it in a million years.
Of course they wouldn't.
Even if they put out an album
They've got a song called Burn Motherfucker Burn. Like,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, you carry on, man. You can say Tesseract if you want. Or...
No. Five Finger Death Punch actually fits the metaphor I was going for much better.
The interesting thing is that another thing. This is actually something I was talking about to a friend the other day. You get nominated for a Brit if you're a big band.
Yes.
One thing which was slightly cool. Actually, I watched last year's Brits, and there was only one thing about the evening which was slightly cool. Mm-hmm. And I'll not be watching this year.
No.
But if I catch any like YouTube clips of maybe Eagles playing live, I will watch it.
Of course.
Yeah. But
Yeah. I was just going to say, the one time I've actually seen the Brit Awards was back when the Osbournes collectively hosted it. And that was an interesting experience.
I bet.
No one who deserved to win won it, of the few acts in there that may have deserved to win. But on the plus side, we got to see that Sharon did not like Alan Carr for some strange reason, because she told him to piss off and called him a bastard.
typical Sharon.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Sharon, what was that all about, Shaz?
That's another famous person I hate, Sharon Osbourne.
It's fine. Maybe on another episode we can all talk about why we all hate Sharon Osbourne.
Yeah, we should have one episode dedicated to why we hate people.
Yeah, people in general, we need to have a complete theme of misanthropy.
Well, top 5 people we want to punch in the face.
Yes, our shit list.
Yeah,
Yes.
and I will even go into
The
that
Irrelevant
later.
podcast shit list.
Yeah.
RockCast. You've done it again. For
God's sake!
Hey, let's get back to the
This
topic.
week on the Irrelevant podcast, it's Jefferson Hovercraft.
Anyway, let's get
Featuring
back
Jeff
to
Cantner.
Anyway,
Yes,
Mills.
sorry, carry on.
Yeah, let's get back to
No,
it.
that's all right.
Sorry, guys.
No, that's all right. What I was going to say was last year, the only thing that I thought was slightly cool was last year, Royal Blood. Okay, before you want to talk about them, they're a band that I used to like and now I don't. I'll explain why. But all I knew, right, was Royal Blood played on the Brits last year and won a Brit Award, and they played it and they rocked it the fuck out, garage style.
Cool.
And what was cool was I first heard of Royal Blood because I went to Download 2014 and they were on the third stage, and they
really?
were getting promoted. Yeah, third stage in a tent.
Okay.
And they were getting, at the time, Andy Copping, the guy Books Downloads, was hyping up, saying these guys are a really good British band. But he was also hyping up a few other British bands, such as like Baby Godzilla, who are now known as Heck. He was hyping them up, and Lonely
I thought you were
the
going
Brave.
to say baby metal.
No, not Baby. No, Andy Copping doesn't like them. But yeah,
Does anyone?
Don't have
I don't
some
even know
people
who
do.
the
They can
hell
fill.
they
They can
are.
fill Wembley.
Sorry, this is another complete sidetrack. But
Yeah.
when I went to Somerset 2014, I saw baby metal.
Yeah.
And like it was horrible, dude. Like
I know people enjoyed
the entire
it, but
front row, the entire like front 4 rows, like the entire Japanese fan base,
Yeah.
moved to the front collectively to see baby metal, and they went mad. It was like they were headlining. Like,
Yes.
all these Japanese people were at the front, and like.
no, yeah, and they were there just for Baby
And they were
Metal,
there just,
probably.
and then the next act came out. I think it was Ghost.
Was it? Oh, I thought Chaz and Dave were there that year.
Yeah,
Fuck Chaz and Dave.
Chaz
Awesome
and Dave.
band.
Chaz and Dave are a great heavy metal band.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway,
I agree.
back to the
No,
main
no,
topic.
we were
Yes,
talking.
sorry, carry on.
No, go for it. We were talking about. We'll quickly wrap this up. Listen to before next week's podcast. Check out Baby Metal, and we'll talk about them properly. Actually, that's another topic. We will talk about Baby Metal properly next week.
Yeah.
Okay,
God.
but yeah, what I was...
I'll tell you what, if we talk about baby metal, then the sixth episode of the Irrelevant RockCast is just going to end in a mass suicide.
Potentially.
That's all we're going to get out of
but
it.
anyway,
Yeah.
Are we going to make sure that we actually wrap this up then?
Yeah, no, all I was going to say was that with... Okay, he was promoting Lonely the Brave, Andy Copping for Download 2014. He was saying about the young British bands that really that were really doing, really getting somewhere. And yeah, they played, and that was the first time I'd heard of them. And then they released their album, and it got to number 1 in the charts. And I thought, where the hell has this come from? And then they're on the Brit Awards, and I thought, and then they played it, and they were really good. And then their tour completely sold out. They then were third on top of the main stage at Reading last year, and they also supported Foo Fighters on a stadium tour. And so then I thought, oh, that's pretty cool British band. And then I went to the Foo Fighters tour and I saw them, and they always get played at detention. And I'm like, they're not really that good, are they?
Maybe we sort of got wrapped up in that. It's a new young band. They've only got one album out.
Yeah.
They're mixing garage rock with the commercial appeal, and then like the appeal and like the novelty of it. And then like once you actually sort of stand back and listen to it, because I was always removed from the hype behind Royal Blood.
Yeah.
I was never really involved in the hype, and I'd listen to one of their songs and I thought, it's kind of generic.
Yeah, no, fair enough. I agree. I think generic's a good word. It's good that they're two piece, by the way, Matt. Have you ever listened to what was it? I've already forgotten their bloody name. Royal Blood. Have you ever listened to Royal Blood before?
I'm afraid I have not.
Right.
You're not missing much. I'll tell you something. If you want a good two-piece band, check out Dolomite Miner. They're the same sort of genre, sort of garage rocky sort of thing. Much better. Much more original. I respect Royal Blood for what they've done. They've managed to get commercial appeal. That's very hard to do when you're a rock band.
Yeah.
So I respect them for what they've done. Muzzle dove to them. But I think Dolomite Miner, who are much more underground, Southampton-based, are much better.
Nice one, man. But the reason why I mentioned Royal Blood on the Brits is because they performed live on it and won an award, but they'd had a number 1 album. The Eagles of Death Metal are a band who last year at Download played middle of the second stage. Bands do not get nominated for Brit Awards when they're that small. Now, Eagles of Death Metal have also been around since 1998. Why are they only just getting attention? We know why. It's sad.
Yeah.
It's sad news. But for me, it's true, because they're not big enough to be nominated for a Brit Award.
No.
Yeah.
Are they? In the world that we know, the only people who get nominated for Brits are really popular. And Royal Blood last year were popular enough because they had a number 1 album.
This actually goes on to a topic I just want to quickly bring up. What is the relevance of award shows and criteria? Because, like, if you have to say that the Brit Awards is meant to be the musical equivalent of the BAFTAs, and then say the Grammys is meant to be the same thing for the Oscars in the US, like, they don't have criteria that really seems to level up. They claim to be each other's film and music equivalents of each other, but then you have to say really, really popular or such and such, when the Oscars and the Brits don't have specific criteria. They just say, I mean, you get British Academy of Film and Television Awards, but the BAFTAs are pretty much an international award ceremony, so they don't favour British acts or British movies. So, for me, it should always be about the artistic integrity, and I have the same feeling that you guys will agree with me, but why do you feel that, everyone is getting, attention given to them based on purely the commercial side of everything? Because it was only through being the highest grossing film of all time did Avatar seem to really even get the 3 measly Oscars that it got.
Well, I think Avatar's been outdone by Star Wars now.
Yeah.
For domestic box office, not for worldwide. Domestic.
Yeah,
Star Wars is thrashing it.
Yeah.
Star Wars A New Hope actually still outgrosses that. But yeah, just on that basis, can you tell me what the reason is then? Do you feel that people just get the popular stuff out there? Is it fear for backlash, or
and
would
business,
it be something...
music business?
I think it is fear of backlash, because if a band or a group or an artist has more fans, that's less people you're going to piss off.
Yeah.
Like, when they get the award.
One other thing we need to add is Eagles Death Metal are an awesome band.
Yes, they are, of course.
Okay, now wrapping this up, and now actually finally we'll move on to our next thing. We're going to talk about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame because it happens every April. Am I right in saying?
I believe that's
roughly around that time.
Okay,
don't really pay attention to it.
Yeah, man, and we'll explain why very shortly. But I'm going to mention the 6 names that are being nominated this year that I have listed, and this is who they are. We have Cheap Trick, Chicago, Deep Purple, Steve Miller, NWA, and Burt Burns. I know 4 of them. I've never heard of Burt Burns. Actually, I have heard of NWA. I've just never listened to them properly. The other 4, I know Chicago for that sappy ballad, If You Leave Me Now, or whatever. Yeah. It's kind of soft rock, I'd say. But let's just say this. I'm sure you guys would agree. Cheap Trick, too late. Deep Purple, way too late.
Yeah.
The only reason Deep Purple's in is because of the social media backlash of the fact that they weren't in.
Yeah, exactly. And then you've got other acts in there that really should have been in much quicker than they were, but just keeping it straight on this at the moment. Like, Deep Purple, they were only on there because of social media backlash. Like, how many times were they nominated consistently before they did it? Because to my knowledge, they were nominated like 4 or 5 times. And, it's not as bad as it was with Sabbath, because they were nominated 8 times before actually finally being inducted.
Then you've got bands like Nirvana who make the ballot the first year they're eligible.
Yeah, Joan Jett had to wait a few runs in.
Yep.
Bob Seger had to get the whole of Detroit backing him just to get in when he got in.
Also, I'm a huge Kiss fan. Kiss got in 12 years too late, I'd say.
Yeah.
Alice Cooper, the godfather of shock rock, too late. Let me mention to you guys a few bands who aren't in who should be.
Yeah.
Bon Jovi, Def Leppard, Motorhead, Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, Slade, the New York Dolls, T-Rex.
All of the above.
When you said Slade, I thought you were going to say Slayer, which I would also agree with.
Slayer,
Slayer should be in there.
Megadeth as well.
Megadeth,
yes.
Should be in.
So effectively, and Anthrax even. The big 4,
maybe even Testament.
Yep, Exodus.
Exodus, yeah.
I would be tempted to say that 2 of the remaining Fab 4 are thrash, but we'll go but we'll go into that later on.
Saxon as well.
Saxon.
I love me some Saxon.
Yeah, I love Saxon too.
Do you guys know anyone else
Girl
who is
School.
in?
Girl School definitely need to be in. They are the longest serving all-female rock/metal band, and on that basis, just for the sheer influence that they managed to get in the short time they were out, commercially they may not have done too much, but revolutionary-wise and sheer influenza, you've got the Runaways. You need to put them in just for the sake of...
So the Runaways aren't in, but Joan Jett is solo.
Yeah, Joan Jett is. Lita Ford isn't. The Runaways collective...
Lita Ford needs to be in there.
Yeah, Lita does need to be in on, Fun fact for you, she's actually from the UK originally.
Is Ozzy Osbourne in there as a solo
artist? No, only Sabbath. Yeah, for sure.
I think even if we just put Randy Rhoads in
I don't know if Dio's in there.
Dio's not in there.
Okay,
oh my god, we need to ransack the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Actually, guys, I've got an idea. How about we go over to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, see what it has there and what it doesn't have that it needs to have so badly.
By the way, this is just for me.
Yeah.
Everyone has their views, but in my opinion, now that Deep Purple are going in, and we'll go into that in a second, out of everyone that the 3 of us have just named, and disagree with me if you want, but for me, if I had to say one who should definitely be in it, it's Iron Maiden.
Yeah.
Think about
I agree.
about influence, or we could even say Motorhead and Iron Maiden for me, or Priest.
I would say for me,
I'd say more Maiden.
I would say in terms of influence of those bands, like you've got Maiden, Motorhead, Judas Priest. They may outdo each other in different levels, but...
And they're all important for different reasons.
Of course. They are all important for different reasons. You can listen to episode 2 and you'll talk about why we actually talk the most about Lemmy in that, and then we talk again about Maiden. They were the first to really revolutionise the whole idea of intellectual heavy metal. Their themes mostly come from books and history points, like The Rime of the Ancient Mariner speaks for itself. The Number of the Beast is a reference to a nightmare Steve Harris had after watching Damien Omen Part 2. And the truth
that film is a nightmare for alternate reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you've got multiple other things, like The Trooper, which is obviously about the Crimean War. Like, Maiden essentially are its
And
all
also,
relative throughout history.
Majority of
Yeah.
metal bands who have followed have been influenced by Iron Maiden. I'm
yeah.
going to say majority because I do have friends who don't like Iron Maiden, and I'm sure you do as well.
I have friends who don't like Iron Maiden, and we weren't friends for long.
I have friends that I am still friends with, but they don't back up their points. They're like the sort of meh approach to everything.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine it this way. You've got metal, which is, logical, like the rugby fan domain.
Yeah.
Then you've got the football stereotype, which is not so worth listening to. Then you've got the other people who are just like, I just find them annoying, and I'm like, huh? That doesn't have a
By the way,
point to it.
That's not an argument.
Yeah, just to make this clear, by the way, everyone who we've mentioned, because I'd say the cut-off point for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame has got to be 1991, 92, because you need to be eligible, and there hasn't been the last newer bands to get nominated were Nirvana and Green Day. They were the two bands. There hasn't been any newer bands since then.
Yeah.
And
Will we be able to put Pantera in there?
Pantera are not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I don't think.
No, they're
Are
not.
they eligible?
They
Of course they used to be a hair metal band in the 80s.
Back in the 80s. Oh,
Yeah,
man.
They were still a band.
When were they first out there?
Like 85, 86, I think.
83 was their first album.
Oh, was it?
Okay, so
yeah,
19
and it was pure bollocks.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, let me think. 1983, 5 years later, then a further 20 years later, they were eligible technically in 2008.
Okay.
But we're going to ignore them. The same reason that we ignore multiple acts.
Yeah, and we can even talk about now how these bands that we've mentioned in this list who should be in aren't in, but yet there's people who aren't even rock bands getting in.
Yeah.
How is that legit? I mean, yeah, I get the point. Run DMC, technically, according to Eminem, were meant to be the first rock stars of rap, but they're not rock bands themselves. Yet, technically, they wouldn't have even been able to blend in with rock unless they ended up having, that duet with Aerosmith, which actually did more to benefit Aerosmith than it did them.
Yeah. It gave Aerosmith the mainstream cred.
It gave Aerosmith the mainstream cred. It gave Run DMC a bit of a jump back to a deeper root. And either way you look at it, though, it was still Aerosmith's track.
Got you.
Personally, I'm not going to be happy with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame until Jefferson Hovercraft game.
I mean, I would have been happy. I'm happy with the Beastie Boys getting in there because their music is almost entirely just rock with rap lyrics.
I mean, you can't deny the influence of the Beastie Boys.
Yeah,
No.
they are worthy of that status.
It wouldn't surprise me because in the future we can already. The thing is, in our heads, since 1992, 93, we can list a whole heap of bands who will get in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but will they? Because of the list I made, we could say for me, Smashing Pumpkins should get in. So should Korn. Korn should get in. Korn should get in because they were the most influential nu metal band of all time. System of a Down should get in at some point, as should. I know it'd be disagreed, but I'm a big Limp Bizkit fan.
I can't stand nu metal.
Oh, don't you?
And for
not even Skin Dread.
Are Skindred nu metal? I don't really
Well,
listen to them.
technically Skin Dread have that same sort of appeal in the sense that they take their music from virtually everything that just clicks with Benji's appeal.
Yeah, the thing is, what nu metal is...
They work well.
Yeah,
it's weird. Sorry.
No, man. No, I'm happy to listen to you. I could say what I'm about to say any week.
It's weird that you bring up Benji from Skindred because he just got stabbed.
Yeah, we didn't include that.
We didn't include this.
No,
I know. I was actually
Benji Webb
wondering.
just got stabbed in the face.
I kind of expected you just to write that down.
Sorry, man. It went over me.
Yeah,
Sorry.
but actually, Skindred, first concert I went to see ever, as Alex will tell you, down in Soton, Southampton. And basically, Benji ended up getting slashed in the throat, and I am so happy that he has not died from that attack. But whoa, Benji!
It happened
that was
at a party.
Scary thing to see.
He wrote a status on
Forgive and Live
on Facebook. Forgive and Live or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing is, Benji's got a really good attitude. As we've seen the YouTube video of his desire to succeed as a rock singer, as a rock and metal singer, helped him get through, because he said he had a really tough upbringing child with both his parents dying, and he said people not telling him he could do it when he can, because he is in his late 40s. People forget this. Yeah, he's absolutely brilliant.
When did he first become a rock star anyway?
Around 02, because that was when Babylon came out.
Yeah. I know nothing about Skindred. Again, I'm going to sound like a broken record, but I respect them. I respect them for being able to fuse all the genres they do.
Yeah.
And for Benji Webb to be stabbed in the face and neck and go,
slashed in the throat,
whatever. Forgive and live.
Yeah, but either way, like, also, you're from Southampton, right?
That's the one.
Yeah. Skindred, according to Alex here, actually have quite a history with Southampton, just as a place where they perform.
Yep, their bassist is from Southampton. He's from Shirley.
Yeah. So actually, if they do come round, you'll probably find it just seems to fit the apparent for you.
Got you.
Yeah. Next time they come round, I will check them out.
Do it. But anyway, moving on from that news, we were talking about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Okay. Yeah. Going firmly on, we've spoke about, the frustrations. Now we're going to talk about who's being inducted. Now, can you guys please say why Deep Purple should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and why they should have got in sooner?
Deep Purple are one of the biggest acts from their particular breakout era, and they are musically every bit as important to the heavy metal collective in their time slot, at the very least, as Sabbath and Zeppelin, in terms of the influence.
Oh, totally.
And musically, they just have, again, what Zeppelin ended up doing. They just proved, in a time where people were probably going to look down on acts that didn't have the full set of like great big masses of musicians in an orchestra. They proved that they could do so much just with only a few sets of people to create great effects, and they are iconic. They are one of the first bands that you think to when it comes to late 60s, early 70s, breaking into what eventually led into bigger metal.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Everything he said.
Yeah.
Anything you want to add?
No.
Oh, really?
I don't know that much about Deep Purple.
Oh, don't you? No, fair play, man.
Not really.
You can only be honest.
Yeah, man, I agree with their influence. I think they had an amazing influence.
By the way, I don't
really listen to much of their stuff.
That's cool. On episode 1, I went to see Deep Purple for the first time lately, and I was disappointed.
Really?
But regardless, if you listen, I'll talk to you about it off recording. But or you could just listen to the episode if you want. But one thing I will say is the reason why the band need to be in is because they have one of the most iconic lead guitar players, even though he's a massive dick, in Richie Blackmore, who played Smoke on the Water, probably the most famous guitar riff. The most famous guitar riff. The most famous guitar riff of all time, and they're not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame until 2016. Unbelievable.
And Ted Nugent ripped it off at Cat Scratch Fever.
Yeah. I'm not sure if Ted's in the Rock Hall.
I think
he is.
I don't know if he is.
I think he is. I don't know.
Well, if he is, he shouldn't be.
Just to clarify, we don't have a list in front of us.
Yeah.
This is just through memory.
None of us really care about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame because it's a load of bollocks.
Well, actually, we would care a lot more about the hall itself than we do about the people that make it what it is.
Yes.
The actual physical building in Ohio.
Yeah, the actual physical building in Ohio and the museum that we want to go and see, we want to go and see it for that purpose. We don't care about the idiots that have been inducted instead of great artists that should be in there. And yeah, you can bet that Cleveland, Ohio had to suffer the full fury of Detroit, Michigan just to get Bob Seger inducted to where he rightfully
another
believes.
American civil war between Michigan and Ohio to get Bob Seger into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
That's it. But yeah.
And they're two northern states too, so we're Yankees in the Union.
Okay. By the way, one thing that I will say is that there are 3 bands who helped define heavy metal in the early 70s. Whether Led Zeppelin are considered a heavy metal band or not, it was Sabbath, Zeppelin, Purple. The other 2 got in a long time ago. Deep Purple, maybe not as big, but definitely as important for several reasons.
Yeah.
Why 2016?
I don't know.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
I think I've said to you before. I've said off microphone that there is so much politics surrounding the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame that makes it kind of worthless.
Yes.
When you say politics, can you maybe divulge into that a little bit?
I don't know, like the people who make these Hall of Fames, they always have like agendas. There's always personal and subjective taste in whoever's in charge of choosing these.
And
artists.
there's also a lot of controversy because sometimes people don't show up. And the year that Kiss got inducted, they refused to play with each other. And Axl Rose didn't show up to the RockHall when Guns N' Roses got inducted.
The Sex Pistols refused point blank to even attend the awards ceremony. They called it a piss stain.
I'd do the same. Like,
I would turn up, but I would have a list of things that the Rock Hall would have to do.
Alex is bursting to say something.
Yes, I've just actually forgot to include an incredibly important band who are not in the Rock Hall of Fame, who also said that they would not accept it. It's Motley Crue. Motley Crue, regardless of what people think of them, because I know a lot of people think they suck.
Vince Neil sort of killed a guy, so I don't really forgive him for that.
Oh, what, the Hanoi Rocks thing?
Yeah. Hanoi Rocks,
but one thing though, regardless of that, you can't deny Motley Crue are the most important hair metal band ever because they were the first band. No, when I say hair metal, I'm on about the Sunset Strip generation. They were the first band to bring in Warrants, Poisons, all those bands.
I was going to say Bon Jovi, the most important hair metal band.
I know, but Motley Crue came before them. And also Motley Crue had the image of anarchy. You know what I mean? You need to remember, Motley Crue came before Bon Jovi and Guns N' Roses. The only LA band that came before them was Van Halen. Yeah. Now Van Halen were awesome and decadent, but Motley Crue had we are a heavy metal band, just fucking look at us. Yeah. But we're also good looking guys who can, create these really sleazy anthems, which then influenced the next 6-7 years. And Nicky Sixx said that he says, well, you can only listen to Nicky Sixx properly if Motley Crue do never play together again, and if they do refuse Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And you never know, if they do get in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, it could make them get back together, which means they'd get sued because they signed that contract.
Yeah. I'm not a massive fan of Vince Neil as a person. I think he's a horrible person. And he looks like Lindsay Lohan melted on the Gruffalo. So...
Oh, bump that fist, man.
Fist bump for that line.
Yeah, but anyway...
But also, I'll just say on that, if as well as all the sleazy anthems that he inspired, to just come out of all that stuff in that genre, he also inspired Aerosmith to come up with Do Looks Like a Lady.
Yeah, because that song was written about Vince Neil. Because he thought he was a chick. But anyway, wrapping up...
he really doesn't look like one now.
Wrapping up Deep Purple, before we move on, because we've spoke quite a bit about the Rock Hall, I'm quickly going to say this. I don't know if you guys know a lot about Cheap Trick, but I love them. For me, my introduction to Cheap Trick was I Want You to Want Me on a compilation album, and also Surrender, I first heard in the Kiss film Detroit Rock City, both absolute rock classics. Essentially, Cheap Trick for me Americanized British glam rock. And in there's elements of Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, there's elements of Kiss, there's elements of, like I said, 70s British rock.
Yeah.
And they were essentially the band who had 3.5 minute classic hit rock and roll songs with great harmonies, great lyrics. And all you need to do is listen to, like I said, Surrender, Dream Police, Just Got Back, Southern Girls. They're just one of those groups who you just listen to them and I just melt. They're a classic American radio rock band. And they have, just in case you're wondering, they're not like, I can understand why people think Foreigner, Styx, Journey. I can understand why people think those bands suck. I get it. Yeah. But with Cheap Trick, they are cool enough and original enough and groundbreaking and influential enough to have been nominated before 2016. But I'm glad they are being nominated. It's just way too late. Do you guys know much about Cheap Trick? Anything you want to add?
Not much.
No.
Okay, that's cool. Well, I'm glad I know.
To a mutual.
That's cool. Well, anyway, listen to some Cheap Trick when you get home, guys. If you get any time, I know we're busy, but yeah.
What we're doing, we're looking up the drummer for Dio. Yes. And we're going to look up
listen to Cheap, and Matt's going to look up Baby Metal.
Yes, Baby Metal.
And also, we are saving up to go and physically visit the actual museum itself. Just for an agenda.
It doesn't matter if it happens in a year or 10 years. We will do it.
Yeah,
we'll go on an American road trip
with axes, hammers, and
And actually, I might
destroy.
Yeah, I will say no. We're not going to go and destroy it. We're going to go and beat the hell rugby tackle style out of all the Americans who want to keep that thing purely as a political entity that you described. So yeah,
I'm going to go there just like a permanent marker and draw Ronnie James Dio on the wall.
Yeah,
nice.
I'm going to say and I'm just going to say I'm going to write a poem about the place. Great venue, but No, there's something missing here.
Okay.
There's just something missing to make it perfect.
Just wrapping this up, this is just a question I want to ask you, because
Yes.
neither of us have. Did you ever get the chance to see Dio?
No.
No, I did not get to see Dio live because I didn't really become like a proper metalhead. 2012 was when I really became engrossed
Right.
in the sort of like heavy metal like community.
Right.
Like, I listened to hard rock from about 2007 because Alter Bridge's Blackbird came out.
Okay.
That's an amazing album. That was the first album that got me into hard rock. So I listened to grunge and hard rock and post-grunge like Foo Fighters and all that for a while. Then I went to Download 2012 and saw Metallica.
Yeah, I was
And
there that year.
That was the day. That Saturday was when like that's when I became fully entrenched, if you will,
Glad to hear it, man.
in
All
the
right
heavy
then.
metal society.
That's absolutely awesome. I'm glad that festival that year was incredible. But we'll
great,
talk about it
great.
properly another time. And
Yeah, man.
also known as Brown Load, Drown Load because of the horrible weather. But we survived it, and bands got cancelled. And we'll, like I said, we'll talk about it another time. But next, we are now going to do some album reviews.
Yes.
We're going to do 3. Mr. Matt Mills here has listened to all 3.
Mm-hmm.
Me and Matt Matanza with the hat, we have listened to 1. We have all listened to Megadeth. We'll talk about that second. But first, New Dream Theater, a 2-hour-long album.
Yeah, 2 hours and I think 2 hours and 9 minutes of progressive rock. Not really heavy enough to call it progressive metal. It's progressive rock. I know a lot of people get bored of it.
Yes.
Oh my god, it's over 2 hours over the course of 2 discs. Really self-indulgent. It's really boring. And I honestly do not find it boring because it's one of the first concept albums that actually tells a story. It actually feels like a narrative. Like there are other concept albums that have tried to do it. The Black Veil Bride's Wretched and Divine album, which is
I'm not a fan of that band, but still carry on.
That album is a pile of crap.
Yes, okay.
But it tries to tell a story of like this oppressive empire that's undone by this rebellion.
Kiss did the same with music from The Elder, which also massively flopped.
Yeah, but this is the first album that the Dream Theater album is the first album that does a story like that about a rebellion against this tyrannical empire that actually feels like a story, actually feels like a narrative, actually feels like the soundtrack to a film telling the story of a film. And there was another album that sort of succeeded with it. 2112 by Rush kind of succeeded in that, but Dream Theater just take it, go balls to the wall, make an amazing album, an amazing story. You actually learn about the characters through the lyrics. The music is diverse and mature enough to convey emotions, even when James LaBrie isn't singing. Great performance by James LaBrie. Great performance by every musician on it. Even the ones that aren't in the band that do the classical moments and stuff like that. Great performances all round. John Petrucci's lyrics are brilliantly insightful. Really, really good to listen to. Petrucci and Jordan Rudess, the keyboardist, wrote the entire music for it. It's amazing musically, an amazingly written record, brilliantly performed on. The only thing I miss is it's over 2 hours long, but the songs are all about 4 or 5 minutes with a few interludes. I miss the Dream Theater that can make the Count of Tuscany.
Got you. It's good that you're being critical, only because no album is perfect. And I was actually just about to ask you, is there anything you would change about the album?
Yeah.
If you were a band member or a producer, but you're as a listener, as someone reviewing it, go ahead.
It's 34 tracks over the course of 2.25 hours, basically. And all those tracks, like I said, are 4 or 5 minutes. If some of them were 10 minutes, if some of them were 15 minutes, if some of them were like Count of Tuscany, or some of them were like 6 Degrees of Inner Turbulence, then that would make it a much stronger album. The length doesn't annoy me, the shorter length of the songs does. So I think with such a diverse and interesting story, you can make really in-depth songs. They don't get in-depth enough, or they don't have long enough song structures.
Right. I haven't heard the album. The only thing that I know about it I've obviously heard it from you, but I listen to, like I said, the That's Not Metal podcast every week. Now, this is coming from 2 guys, Hill and Bees, who are not Dream Theater fans, so it's easy to be biased. But they said that they do like some of their music. They just said that they just basically just said that for them, they just found it quite repetitive. I remember them saying, but that is due to length, and they said is it really necessary to make an album that's over 2 hours? You know?
It's not necessary, but it's an artistic choice that really pays off.
Yeah. What if they toured the album?
They are touring the album. They're going to perform it in its entirety.
Wow. Is there going to be time for other music?
When they're doing 2 nights in London, I can't remember the venue, at the end of February. I think it's the end of February. They're doing 2 nights. London Palladium, that's where it is.
Has the gig sold? Because some people who don't like the album won't go.
They're doing 2 nights, and I think they're doing 1 disc in its entirety each night. So the first night they're doing Act 1, the second night they're doing Act 2.
Are they playing any other classics from
I think so, because each disc is only an hour long.
All right, so you'll still have, if they do a 2-hour set.
So they'll probably repeat. They'll probably do Pull Me Under both nights.
Okay.
They'll probably do.
What if Dream Theater play festivals?
They played Wacken this year.
What about 2016 festivals? I know they're not confirmed for any, or they just might not.
I think if you're going to do songs from The Astonishing, they have to be in the context of the entire album. The only song that works outside of the album by itself is Moment of Betrayal, which they've already released as a single. The rest needs to be in the context of the album, because it tells a story.
Okay.
So they I don't know, they probably won't do festivals.
Okay.
Purely because they're going to need the time to perform 2.25 hours of music.
Yeah, because I remember last year they were at Ramblin' Man Fair, and the year before they were at Sony 2014.
Yeah.
Okay. You good with that?
Yeah, I'm happy.
Okay,
I've said all I want to say.
Like I said, next album is Dystopia by Megadeth.
Great album.
I think, in my opinion, it's their best album since Endgame 09. However, we're going to start with Matt. He hasn't spoken for a while, and he has contrasting opinions to mine of that and Mr. Matt Mills here. Mm-hmm. However, his is for entirely different reasons. Please explain.
Okay. I'll say this much. My experience with them came around the first time I had ever heard Metallica when I was about 13 years old. And, yeah. Basically, the first song of theirs I ever heard was Peace Sells, But Who's Buying? But this is something that I'm going to say very easily. That song clicked with me. It made me feel, yeah, this is a band I could actually really get into. But I'm going to be honest, I liked Dave Mustaine. And I'm saying this as a Christian. You know, I liked him better before he found God, per se. Because musically, the album is everything that I'd actually crave in a Megadeth or thrash metal album, you know, musically. But as a poet, I have to say, lyrically, because that is what I'm judging his art by, we want to remain as far away from dystopia as we possibly can do. Look, we all know that Dave Mustaine is known as being a very controversial figure, but he's one of the things that you really wouldn't get the impression of unless you actually look at the history of things he's done. He is basically a redneck in rock and roll and heavy metal, and he's gone out, he's criticised Barack Obama, he's criticised John Kerry, he voiced support for George H.W. Bush, that's George Bush Sr., and he even said he would build a great wall along the border of Mexico and not let anybody in if he were the President of the United States. Mexico, you do know who you would want to shoot down then. He has also disregarded gay rights based on his religious views or misinterpretation of them and refused to answer the question of what makes Judas Priest's frontman and metal's first openly gay singer, not to mention a devout Christian himself, Rob Halford. He refused to say anything about that. And he even said, I'm a Christian, the answer would be no, when talking about making gay marriage legal. As a Christian myself, excuse me, I find his words hard on my ears and even worse still on my heart, as he is a victim of what I would actually call antiquated theological paranoia. The mindset that both Christians and non-Christians can mutually fall into when talking about the Bible's take on such topics as homosexuality and other topics where they hear the worst possible interpretation of something and refuse to hear it any other way. Reviewing this album was a very difficult task to stick with half the time, as while I was getting really into the pure and stellar instrumentation of the album's music, lyrically, I felt guilty about even claiming to enjoy the work in my own head. If every song on this album has a vital message to communicate, then I would take it upon myself to illustrate it for everyone and save them the potential trouble of falling for it. The threat is real. Terrorism and classic terror installation tactic. Dystopia, the title track. The idea that having new and better ideas of how to function is un-American and therefore goes against freedom. Fatal illusions, double standards on claiming that propaganda comes from the good guys. Bollocks. Death from within, America's death is a deadly virus infecting its own populace. Bullet to the brain, the virus, following on from that, will make them go insane. They'll be forced to bite the bullet and swallow their own fate. Post-American world, a world without freedom is no world at all. Poisonous shadows, enemy is at our backs. Conquer or die, stereotypically a white power or Aryan race sentimental remark. Lying in state, behold people, you will watch your freedom burn. The Emperor. Classic Republican accusation of Obama for allegedly taking a stance of socialist or un-American tradition. Foreign policy, how we should deal with our enemies. In a genre of music such as metal, dystopia is an incredibly ironic-sounding echo of Mustaine's repugnant worldviews that only serves as a portrait to what America would look like if they allowed him to be president. While Dave has the ability to live by his principles and has talent to produce music as a musician in metal, he is philosophically the antithesis of everything he claims to love. Where metal in comparison is like the ideal church in Christianity, where everyone has a place in regard of who they are or where their background may reside, Dave Mustaine is a redneck who, instead of unity, transnationalism, artistic integrity and understanding, lays unrest, xenophobia, and subliminal messages of complete propaganda. Therefore, I say, regardless of his status, he has no place in heavy metal, point blank.
Whoa, that's probably the harshest anti-Mustaine.
Yeah.
I don't want to call it a tirade, but like the harshest anti-Mustaine thing I think I've ever heard.
And you've probably heard quite a bit, right?
I've heard quite a bit.
Same.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of anti-Mustaine shtick.
Did you ever picture someone like me, though, as a Christian, coming up with something like that? Because there are valid points in there. Rednecks do not speak for anybody. And Mustaine essentially just portrays himself as that to me.
But one thing I will say
Yeah.
is, obviously, that is your views, your opinion. You are a Christian. It's cool that Matt has reviewed the album in the way he sees it.
Yeah.
And one thing I will say is that I did ask you yesterday, Download Festival 2016, you're planning on going. Megadeth are playing Third from Top, and you said you'd like to see a bit of it.
I said I'd like to see a bit of it, but I wouldn't want to see anything in the set list from his album.
Yeah, but
I wouldn't want to see too much of anything. I could tolerate Dave up to this point.
Yeah, but you made the point that he has no place in metal. If that's the case,
this
and you feel
album
that way,
pretty much actually gave it that way to me. This is my review. I mean every word that I've stated in here.
Got you.
And if I had to stay there mainly because I wanted to just chill out with you on the time, I'd stay there for Peace Sells, but who's buying? Just because I want to sing that and then shout it. You know what, Dave? You're a complete hypocrite. I'd love to say that because it's double standards, the way how he is philosophically as a human being. And then, as an artist, you can only project your own philosophy into your music. Megadeth have the same problem off the record with Dave, that Metallica have been accused of having on the record consistency of a good image.
Got you. So yeah, Matt, what's your either review of the album or response to what Matt has said? Or it could
I'm going to focus this more on the album than Dave Mustaine's politics, because his politics are nutty. I will give you that. He's friggin' nuts. If Endgame proved anything, I'd say the same for Endgame as you say about Dystopia. In fact, I'd say
it about United Abominations as well.
Oh, definitely, yeah. I think United Abominations at Endgame are more fitting of that description you gave than Dystopia, because Endgame and Endgame is named after a documentary which contemplates like that all these shitty American politics happening.
Yeah.
That sentence made no sense. I apologise.
No, that's right. Here, you have a chance to redeem yourself.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dystopia, I'd say I love Dystopia. I've written a review of it. If you go on National Student, my review of it's on there, and my review of Dream Theater as well.
That's cool, man. Feel free to say the review if you want to.
I'm gonna plug my review. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna word it differently.
Okay, yeah.
But I think sort of similar to what you're saying. Musically, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Kiko Loureiro, the new guitarist, and Chris Adler from Lamb of God on drums, completely revitalised the band.
No, they are. They sound like young.
Yeah. They sound.
Fresh.
I say it's in my review. They sound rejuvenated.
Yes.
Like they're completely fresh band.
And breathe new life.
It does breathe new life into Megadeth because there's so many solos.
And also, the last album was shit. Super Collider, in my opinion, was awful.
Oh yeah, Super Collider was a pile of crap.
Yes.
But and I think that's probably one of the reasons why Broderick and Drover
left and formed their own band.
Yeah, Act of Defiance, by the way, amazing band. Birth and the Bearer was an amazing album.
Okay.
If you guys haven't heard it,
I haven't heard their new project. No,
you guys need to hear it. It's an amazing thrash melodeath album.
Okay.
Anyway, sorry, talking about Dystopia. Yeah. Musically, it's completely new. Solos galore. The way Mustaine and Loureiro interact on guitar is amazing. I've not seen such amazing chemistry between two musicians in ages. I'm trying to think of the last example I saw such, two musicians being so succinct. I can't think of an example off the top of my head. That's how good the musicianship is. There isn't much of David Ellison's bass. That gets a little bit. A mini.
He's a classic member. His bass deserves to be heard.
He gets like 10 seconds on Fatal Illusion. Mm-hmm. But other than that, I would like to have heard more bass. Maybe even a little bit more drums from Adler. Yeah. Because he's a new member, he isn't really showcased that much. He's sort of just at the back doing the rhythm, doing bog standard stuff. It doesn't feel like the drums are ever brought to the forefront the same way the guitar or the vocals are. Speaking of the vocals, that was the one weak point.
Didn't they sound a bit auto-tuned to you?
Yeah, I found that.
I thought Dave Mustaine just sounded really tired. Yeah, I thought his vocals sounded really... So what used to be a really impassioned scream on cells. That's an even better word. What used to be an impassioned snarl has now just sort of turned into a very tired political rambling.
Who can't bang his head anymore.
Because of neck surgery.
Yeah. And the thing is, every time I've seen Megadeth, they have been worse. I've seen them 4 times, and every time they've got shitter on each occasion, and that is purely because of him. He is the point. He is Megadeth, the same way we discussed on a previous podcast that Motorhead is Lemmy. Megadeth is Dave Mustaine. Yeah. I know it's not completely, but what we mean is, you can have any member, but if Dave Mustaine dies or gets fired... sorry to use dying in that way, it's just sad.
There'll be no more Megadeth.
Yeah, there would be no more Megadeth, because he is Megadeth.
Would they carry on with Dave Ellefson?
No, if they got rid of Dave...
I know he's a founding member, but he's not...
No, do you know why? Because they went about 7 years without him.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So,
but they got James Almenzo.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
Indeed.
And that was when they filmed that epic Argentina one-night DVD.
That was That was a great performance.
Yes.
Their performance...
I really need to see that.
Yeah,
Their performance of Trust on that DVD was amazing.
I love Symphony of Destruction, when the band are just bouncing and going... The crowd are just bouncing going, Megadeth. And when they do the To Le Monde, the sing-along...
You see... I have made the promise that I will not give him more than his fair share of what I feel he deserves, but I made a promise to a friend a long time ago that I would watch that for them, and I still haven't done it after 2 years, so I am finally just going to put it to rest, so I can say, okay, I'm getting restless not doing it, Dave's already pissed me off enough as it is, I'm just going to see it so I can see what all the hype is, and then I'm going to review him fairly.
Going back to Dystopia, I think it's a good album. I gave it a 4 stars out of 5.
Yeah.
No, nice one. I'd go with that as well.
Obviously, you'd go much lower.
I would say that as a poet, again, lyrically is what I'm basing it on, because you're getting the full taste of what he is.
Basically, Matt's offended.
That's cool. You have every right to be.
Yeah, because I don't feel... The weird thing is, it's a controversial enough issue in itself, because Christian denominations, like... Christianity itself is actually meant to be the most persecuted religion in the world, and that's mainly down to the fact that every denomination of Christianity has issues ranging from different interpretations. Dave Mustaine essentially comes across as, well, his background essentially is he is born again, but he was raised Jehovah's Witness.
Yes.
And, well, he's had the worst possible way of doing it. He's a redneck from California, and he's just...
Does he live in Tennessee now?
I don't know, actually.
I thought he moved to Tennessee recently because his daughter has got a country career going on.
I know.
Oh, yes, she does.
Yeah.
She's got a country music career going on.
All I know is that he is originally from Cali.
Yes.
Yeah, either way. Megadeth, I know that Dave may well be the image of you, but he is not the image that you want, and you can shoot this guy down proper Republican gun rights style. And I wouldn't bat an eyelid for concern. I wouldn't even allow these two to put it as a tribute on the podcast, just because I feel that's how much I savagely hate them. But no,
so we're gonna be here just bawling our eyes out.
But yeah, the truth is they'll probably fit it in anyway by beating me into submission, and I'll say fine, don't knock my head off.
Yeah. By the way,
but yeah, I'll just finish off by saying Megadeth definitely do have a place as an act, but Dave Mustaine shouldn't be made to speak for them. He doesn't speak for me as a Christian, and we don't allow him to fit in there at all to try and get our viewpoints out, because all he really does is stop progression for us as a group and for you guys as a group. My advice would be just take more control, or tell him that he can take a hike.
So you think if David Ellefson wrote the lyrics, a much more, I guess, balanced, quote-unquote, Christian wrote the lyrics, then it would be better. But Mustaine wrote the music.
I would say Mustaine can stay with the music, but I would say if he wants to include anything even vaguely Christian, at least make it an accurate interpretation of scripture.
That's fair enough.
So
I respect that.
Thanks.
Nice. So you were talking about your review. We asked the question about, do you find, you said he sounded tired and auto-tune. Anything more you want to add? Not about that, but about the album in general.
No, I think, to sum it up, musically it's amazing. Lyrically and vocally it's a bit shit.
Yeah.
That's the caption.
Do you
review.
agree with what, because obviously, presume like, I'm not a Christian, I'm not that religious.
No.
I do agree, Dave is a redneck. He is, a man, he is a working class man from the South who is a Christian, who, is a hypocrite at the same time.
Yeah.
That is what a redneck is.
Yeah.
As the Lamb of God song says.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dave Mustaine, this is a motherfucking invitation.
And do you know what? Do you know what I said to Matt? Like, do you reckon that this album was partly inspired by the Lamb of God drummer joining? But it probably isn't. But you never know. But anyway, all I can say is, I thought Super Collider, as I mentioned, was crap. I thought 13 was average. I thought Endgame was brilliant.
Endgame was amazing.
And I played the riffs on this record are awesome. The fret is real. The guitar riff on that is amazing. The first 3 or 4 songs just knock you out in terms of like speed metal, the way you want it to be heard.
My favourite song on the album is Poisonous Shadows, because it has like the piano.
Oh, really?
It has the piano in there, because Kiko Loureiro co-wrote that song. Yeah. You can tell because it's the most diverse song on the record.
Excellent. I found my least favourite song on the album is Foreign Policy, because I found it repetitive. It is the repetitive throwaway song they need to get rid of, which is a shame because the guitar riff is brilliant. I really like the Post-American World song. I know. No. What I mean is, it's a good album track. It's a good album track. It's not a song that you'd play live, and it's not a song you would release as a single. But as an album track, it's got
They better play Poisonous Shadows live.
Oh, nice.
That's amazing.
We shall find out. Going on to our final review before we talk about a couple of festival lineups before we wrap it up. Flesh God Apocalypse latest album.
Yes.
If you could spend about 5 minutes or so talking about that.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine, because basically, a little bit of introduction. Like I said, I'm a writer for National Student. I'm currently in a deal with Nuclear Blast Records, who also manages Slayer, Lamb of God, Anthrax, stuff like that. And I get review copies of albums early. I get them
excellent.
I get about 2 weeks. I get them about 2 weeks early in exchange for writing a review and promoting them.
Yeah, I did ask you how come you've heard these albums. They're not even on the shelf yet, and then I found out.
Flesh God Apocalypse doesn't come out to the 5th of February. This might be out by then. And yeah, it doesn't come out until the 5th. But it's a very, very strong record. For those of you who don't know, Flesh God, they're an Italian progressive technical death metal band. They've got elements of symphonic in there as well. Like there's an orchestra in the background almost the entire time. It is an amazingly intense record. If you can imagine bands like Sylosis with doing like something like S&M, like with Metallica did.
Yeah,
So
the orchestra.
Yeah, if Cannibal Corpse and Sylosis did the S&M gig, you'd get Flesh God Apocalypse, and you'd get this new album.
Excellent.
I gave it the perfect 5 stars when I reviewed it. It's an amazing experience. It's a concept album based on like how we're devolving in the 21st century, and it's a very melancholic lamentation. It's very, very cathartic to listen to as a metalhead. Like just the attitudes of how we're a society in downfall. It's really, really cathartic experience. Really, it almost sounds like the soundtrack to an epic tragedy. Like the way the orchestra is assigned and the way the vocals.
What is it like live? Have you seen this band?
I've not seen this band live.
Are they touring?
I do not know. Actually, I imagine they are. No, they're coming to the UK actually in summer.
Is it for festivals or?
No.
Is it for a summer tour?
It's for a tour.
Yeah.
I think it's May time, but don't quote me on that.
Okay.
I might try and secure an interview with them.
Oh, nice one, man.
Don't know yet.
Try get them on the podcast if you can.
Yeah, I'll see. Yeah, man, I'll try.
Say, are you free any Sunday?
Yeah, man.
Know,
I'll try my best. I'll make no promises.
That's
all
right.
It's a great album from a relatively underground Italian band. Definitely worth checking out. It will probably be out by the time this is released. So go and check it out. Go and pick it up. It will be in HMV.
Excellent. But just because I've never heard this band. I have heard of them because I listen to a lot of podcasts and read a lot of magazines. However, I'll definitely check out a couple of tracks, and if I like what I hear, I'll hear the full album. Yeah,
They've released one track so far. They released the first single. It's called The Fool. It's
Fool.
Very good.
Nice one.
It's got a mix of melodic.
So you were saying about the orchestra. The orchestra on stage with that. How do they present themselves live, or is it done by keyboards?
I have no idea. I can't remember. They have. Again, it's so diverse. Like one track is just opera. Like they have an interlude called Paramore. I think it's like the 7th track, and it's just 4 minutes of opera. It really adds to like this classical sort of aura that's going on. And in regards to live, I don't know if they have an orchestra behind them. I can't imagine they do. Okay. It'll probably be on record, on speaker over them performing. But it's very, very worth checking out. It's really good. Probably the heaviest I've ever heard symphonic metal.
Excellent, nice one. And that's something, we have never covered symphonic metal on this podcast, so that's the first. So thanks for bringing that to us today, Matt.
That's cool.
Okay, last thing we're going to talk about, and because of time, we're going to talk about 2 festivals. We were going to talk about more, but we can go over that into next week.
Cool.
Because we're at the time of year when time's going by quickly, and as each week goes by, more and more tours and more festival announcements are being named. Actually, before we quickly say this, I mentioned on the last episode, I'll only talk about this very briefly, but when I mentioned Guns N' Roses, there has been news that before Coachella, there's 2 shows in Las Vegas, which are both worth an absolute fortune, both already sold out. So that's one thing we do know. We've already discussed Guns N' Roses for about an hour in the last podcast. So that is the news I was going to talk about, which I mentioned on the last podcast. Now going in to talking about...
Sorry, can I just mention something about Guns N' Roses?
Okay, sure, man.
Do you know how much for those 2 shows in Vegas they're charging for VIP?
How much?
Yeah.
$2,500.
Yeah.
Whoa!
$2,500 for VIP packages for the show. And guess what? You don't even get to meet the band.
No, you don't.
Wait,
don't
so
even get-
that's
and you don't even know who's in the band at the
that's
moment.
US dollars.
I think it's US dollars.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, well, even
You don't
then,
even get to meet Axl Rose.
you don't even get to meet Axl Rose for,
Slash
say,
Duff.
If we ended up paying, say, 1,300 quid, we wouldn't get our full money's worth.
No, you don't even get to meet Axl Rose and do what Corey Taylor did and rub your dick along his piano.
I have a weird feeling that this is going to be a short-lived experience.
Yeah, Matt, have you actually listened to our hour-long speech about Guns N' Roses?
I think so.
Yeah, it was the one where we talk about what could happen, what may happen. But it's something, it's one of the pieces that I'm most proud of that we've recorded, because I felt like we covered near enough everything. But yeah, moving on, we're going to talk about two festival lineups as we speak. I was going to do more, but because of time, because I've really enjoyed this. And we've actually gone over.
This has been great fun.
No, it's been brilliant.
Yeah, it's been fun having you right on here, mate.
Thanks,
yeah,
man.
we've done. We're going to talk about two. In future weeks, maybe we can set this as a challenge. We'll talk about Bloodstocks and even Heavy Fest and even the smaller stuff. But this week there's two. One is Hard Rock France, because Matt is going. Hard Rock France, sorry, Download Festival France. Hard Rock France.
Hard Rock France.
Download.
Yeah, that's the one that Jefferson Hovercraft is headlining.
And they're going to do the Irrelevant podcast.
The Irrelevant podcast is going to be there.
They're going to have us at the Irrelevant podcast.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's it. And the other one, I'm going to mention this because they've just announced about
talking about A, B, C, D, E, G.
Akadaka. Wait, they're called that. They're called Akadaka.
Yes.
That's right. Akadaka, the one band, two biggest play festivals, who aren't Axl Rose and the Sunshine Band.
Anyway.
No, you're thinking of Akdak.
Akdak. Okay, but yeah, the second one, they've just announced a whole days or page worth of bands is Reading. But yeah, we're starting off. Me and Matt with a hat, Matt Matanza with a hat, as we've discussed previously on the first episode, are going to Download Festival UK. They haven't made any announcements, so we're not going to talk about that unless it coincides with Download France, which Matthew Mills is going to.
Yeah, Download France. It's happening the same weekend as Download UK.
Okay.
Iron Maiden are going to be there. They're going to be there on the Friday.
Yep.
And for the UK one, I understand they're playing the Saturday.
Sunday. Yeah, Saturday
okay, so
is
they're
Black
going to
Sabbath.
play in France. They have one day to get into England and play Download on a Sunday.
Yeah, it's doable.
They're doing
of the two downloads, very quickly, which one of them is technically the mother festival?
I'd say they're the same,
festival?
because they've got the same lineup, haven't they?
I'd say UK.
Yeah.
I'd say UK. The UK's been going longer.
Oh no, it has, but in terms of lineup.
Yeah, well, when I say
lineup's completely different.
Yeah,
only the headliners.
I'm not on about lineup. I'm on about lineage.
Oh, of course, Download UK is the biggest rock
that was
festival
Monsters
on
of
the planet.
Rock.
Yeah.
It started out as Monsters of
Yeah,
Rock.
I think Download UK is. I know we're talking about Down France. Download UK is probably the biggest rock festival in the world.
Yeah,
in terms of just rock.
Exactly.
The biggest festival in the world is Glastonbury, as we know, but we're not going to talk about
the biggest
that.
metal festival is Download.
Or you could say, technically, I've heard from some people, the biggest heavy metal festival in the world is the German one.
Rock and Ring?
No, the other one.
Wacken.
I've heard, but that might just be purely metal. But anyway, going back to Download France.
Yeah, we'll talk about Wacken another day, I'm sure. But Download France. Iron Maiden's going to be there on the Friday. I think Rammstein on the Sunday.
Yeah, and have they announced their
They've not announced the Saturday headline.
It might be Guns N' Roses.
It could
be Guns N' Roses.
I doubt it. But
it could be.
It could be. Anything's possible.
Yeah.
But the Saturday headliner they've not announced. But they have confirmed they're going to be making more announcements on the 3rd of February. And again, this will probably be out by then, so we'll know more. But
and we will talk about it next week.
And we will talk about it next week, of course we will.
Yeah.
In the news.
On the 3rd of February, they're going to make more announcements. But as of now, as of today, the 31st of January, I've just dated this episode, I apologise. We know Sabaton's going to be there, Megadeth's going to be there, your favourite band, Megadeth.
Don't push your luck, Mills. It's okay, I like you, I'm not going to hurt you.
Thank you. Sabaton, Megadeth, Trivium, I think Amon Amarth.
Amon Amarth.
I love Amon Amarth. Have you heard their new single?
I haven't.
First Kill. It's really, really good. I'm looking forward to the new album. But again, it's beside the point. Amon Amarth, I can't remember who else. I think Ghost is going to be there.
Ghost. What about, I'm trying to think of the subs at Download. Is Korn going to be there?
Don't think so.
It's because there's Hellfest. Hellfest is now a rival festival too.
Hellfest in France, yes, of course.
Yeah, because Download Festival France, they may have the same problem that Sonosphere has. Where Download and Sonosphere are direct rivals, now Download France and Hellfest are going to be direct rivals.
Sonosphere 2015 didn't go ahead because they couldn't get any good bands.
No, Sonosphere 2016 isn't going ahead, as we know.
Same reason, yeah.
No, but they haven't. Sonosphere UK haven't made any announcements, which
No.
no, they haven't said it's not happening in 2016 because they said in 2015 we'll be back or hoping to be back in 2016, and there has been no status or anything. Which, if you're a paying customer, is terrible customer service.
Of course.
And also, you've got to be honest about. They haven't announced anything, and they've got all the UK has got all the festivals it had last year.
Yeah.
And they've actually got a new one at the O2 with Alice Cooper and Darkness and stuff as well. So that's another thing. It's cool. I can't remember what that's called, but basically we are now entering February. Sonosphere is in July. If they suddenly in February announce this incredible lineup, which has got bands that are as popular and as big as Linkin Park or Avenged Sevenfold, which I very much doubt they will, because all you need to do is look at festival lineups from other countries such as Germany, Spain, France, Sweden to know who's touring, and all the bands that are touring in the foreign countries are at something in the UK. So Sonosphere is not going to happen.
Yeah.
Sonosphere has always been like I've always called it like download sloppy seconds. Like,
for me, it's the combination of Bloodstock and Download combined, which is what makes it the best.
Like
for me.
like the bands who play Download, because Downloads always comes first.
Yeah, of
like,
course.
Chronologically,
it's Live Nation, and the guy who manages Download is one of the chiefs of Live Nation, Andy Comping. I mean, I would love to work for Live Nation. Don't know about you
I'd
guys.
love to work at Download.
Yeah. I'd love just to be able to put on a Download executive T-shirt, even if it doesn't mean anything. So if you can get me a space there on the exec branch, I'd be happy.
Yeah, man.
This we'll go into more detail about this in a later week, I imagine. This is more about Bloodstock, but I actually have, looks like I will have a press pass for Bloodstock in August.
Oh, brilliant, man.
So,
we're going to talk about Bloodstock next week in full, it's just because of time, because Bloodstock has an awesome lineup. We actually mentioned on the latest episode that we released, we talk about Twisted Sister at Bloodstock. We talk about the great lineup, but all we mentioned is that we think Twisted Sister will steal the weekend because they are that good a live band. Yeah. It's not about them being a best band musically. Live, they are jaw-droppingly good.
My bet's on Slayer.
Your bet's on Slayer.
So I
reckon Twisted Sister are going to kill Slayer because I've seen both bands, and Twisted Sister were better. In my opinion.
Okay.
I've not seen either of those bands, but I would say that while Slayer definitely are in the genre that you'd expect them to take it, I would give it to Twisted Sister just because they have a consistency to their name.
I'll tell you what I'll do. Later on, I will show you We're Not Going to Take It live from Download 2014.
All right. We're jamming.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I know We're Not Going to Take It is one of those songs that, of course, there's going to be a big response, but it's not that. Focus just on the performance and what he does. I know Slayer can't do that because then Dee Snider's a showman. Slayer aren't. We are really off topic. We're talking about Download France.
This is going to go 3 hours long.
Okay.
Yeah, but like we said, we'll talk about Bloodstock next week. Download France. What are you looking forward about the weekend? Is it the new experience?
I'm looking forward to the new experience. The fact I can have a holiday around it.
Yeah.
Like I'm only going to. I'm spending the entire weekend in France, but I'm only staying at Download for the Friday.
Whereabouts is Download France even hosted?
It's Paris, is it?
Yeah, Paris. It's in the shadow of the Eiffel Tower.
Aye.
Just in case you're wondering, hopefully, obviously you're wary of Paris and what's gone on.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did that cross your mind when booking a ticket?
Yeah.
Not really.
It might put some people in the UK off going, man, and you know
Not
that.
really.
Yeah.
It didn't really put me off.
They'd have to amp up security. Any
of
rock
course.
related.
Yeah, they will. Of course they will.
Yeah.
But
like they'll need metal bending police force.
I'm still looking forward to it. Like
of course.
Like you were saying, I'm looking forward to it because it's a new experience. It's a place I've not actually been to Paris since I was 5 when I went to Disneyland.
Okay.
Like I say, I'm going to spend the Friday in Download, but the Saturday and the Sunday I'm going to be out and about. I'm going to go to the Louvre. I'm going to go to the Eiffel Tower, which is, as it sounds, metal as fuck.
Yeah.
So I'm just getting a holiday out of it. It's great.
Oh, brilliant, man! And are you choosing? How come Download UK? Is it because you've chosen this, or do you think Download UK is horrible walk and shit weather, and is that what's put you? It might not. You might have just chosen this, but is there any reasons why you thought, okay, 2016, I love Download UK because what you said earlier about 2012, but I'm going to ignore Download UK because I'm going to Download France instead.
Because it's because I'm the type of guy I like to try things. I like to try everything at least once.
Yeah.
So I can say I've done Download UK. I want to be able to say I've done Download France as well.
Okay.
I've got a hit list of festivals I want to do.
You want to tick?
Yeah, I want to tick off all the list of festivals. and then I can start going back to the ones that I've already been to. Like in a few years' time, once I've done Bloodstock, once I've even done Wacken, because I'd want to do Wacken.
Oh, of course. Even Hellfest, man, one year. Hellfest lineups are always impressive.
Like those are the ones my money is going to go into. So once I've done all those, then my money can go back into the ones I've already done. I'll go back to Download. I'll go back to Sonosphere if it ever starts up again.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Matt,
Cool.
you going to say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to know, like, of all the different places that we could potentially go, very quickly, before we end up wrapping this up. Because
We're going on to Reading quickly.
Yeah, well, okay, Reading. But on that basis about festivals, are there any festivals that you have been to yourselves which you feel it has never, ever been worth it for this sort of event?
2016 Download... 2016 Download hasn't even happened yet.
Yeah.
2015 Download was difficult for a few reasons. I was going through a bit of a difficult time in my life, which has never... It's the first time it's ever happened at a festival, but the weather... don't get me wrong, I have been to Drench Fest festivals.
Yeah, of course.
But Downloads, the rain... At Download 2015, the rain started when Judas Priest played on the Friday, and it went on for a full 24 hours. And I'm not just talking rain, I'm talking like flooding and awful. And this, don't get me wrong, we have experienced rain at festivals. But in 2012, the rain stopped on the Friday, which meant that we got to see all our bands without getting soaked. With this, it rained for a full 24 hours worth of bands playing, including the night. Now that was horrible, and that is enough to put people off going to Download, and it's put a couple of my friends off who went with me last year.
And Download's always in the summer, right?
It's always the second.
Always the summer.
Yeah, and you can tell that France is more sunshine.
Isn't it? Download is always the first weekend of June.
Second.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
This is England.
It is.
This is how we feel.
So then that's it.
Clash reference.
Oh yeah.
You name it. Okay, you happy guys? Gonna go on to Reading.
Yeah.
Okay, Reading might not necessarily be totally our thing, but the reason why I'm mentioning it is because a couple of days ago they made a Reading announcement. I'm a huge Guns N' Roses fan, so I had my phone on I was heading to work. I was on the train, on the bus, just looking at it because it may have been Guns N' Roses, and if it was, I potentially would have booked. That's how big a GNR fan I am. However, I'm not a big enough fan to go and pay and see Axl and his clowns because I've never done that. I've never done that. I'm not a big enough fan to do that, but I'm a big enough fan of the original band.
I think Axl Rose is to me what Dave Mustaine is to other than that.
No.
I just see him and
no, totally. But basically, I was interested for that reason. And they then announced, this is my opinion, because I know people who do like the lineup, who are looking forward to going. And fair play to you, you like guitar-based original music, it's all good. But for me, they've announced a co-headliner, Foles, Disclosure, who are like a DJ dance band, the likes of, what the band, Imagine Dragons, They've also announced Partway Drive. They've also announced, what was the guy with one eye?
Fetty Watt.
Fetty Watt. I can't even
I found out about him from a Boba Fett versus Deadpool epic rap battle of history.
Okay.
Boba Fetty
Yeah,
Watt.
this is my opinion. Reading Festival have just announced a load of shit bands, and I have absolutely no interest in going whatsoever. And my favourite band, or the best band playing at the festival, in my opinion, is Crossfaith playing on the Friday.
Yeah.
Oh, Crossfaith.
Yeah.
My mate. This isn't my story to tell. I apologise, but my mate was telling me about Crossfaith. He went to see them. They're the Japanese band.
Yes, we saw them support Skindred the other day.
Yeah, they were great.
He went to see them. Apparently, there was a bit of a Japanese-English language barrier. And,
And
he was apparently the lead singer went. Apparently, the lead singer said, "When I say 3, you jump." But all the crowd heard was jump. So they start jumping instantly, and the lead singer starts freaking out, going, "No, it's on time! No, stop jumping!"
I'm gutted they're not Download.
No, to be fair, anything that is Latin or Germanic-based language up against, Mandarin as opposed to, any other Asian type of language, is basically going to be about as difficult as translating, essentially Latin into a Chinese proverb and then back to English and then, anything you like that's easy for you. But it's just like, it's always hilarious. I wish I could go there for that purpose, and I wish I could, I don't want to take the mick out of anyone when I get there, but it is a fun thing to spectate, and you can't help but feel sorry, but laugh along with the crowd just as much. I love the irony factor in that.
I could even make a joke saying this. We just mentioned we saw them supporting Skindred. Benji has wounds all over his face and neck. You could say that got caused by the fact that the crowd always do the Newport helicopter. And maybe the crowd was spinning their coats in the air, which have zips on. One of them lets go of their coat. It then goes flying into Benji Webb's face.
The Newport helicopter, ladies and gentlemen.
Got a zip in my neck. Yeah. It's not as metal as being stabbed in the throat, is it?
We take a trip from the southeast England to the land of song, where Benji has currently been. Sorry, Benji, but you must get better soon. The world needs you, Benji.
You make Wales sound like a mystical land.
It is. It's called the land of song for a reason.
You talk about Wales the same way I talk about Mordor.
Anyway, guys, Reading.
Yeah,
sorry.
Reading.
Anyway,
back to Reading. But yeah, that's a topic for a different time.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just thought I have no interest in going whatsoever. The lineup so far, in my opinion, is a load of shit. What do you guys think? What is your taste of the Reading Festival lineup so far, as you both have seen it?
I think that the Reading Festival lineup represents the whole problem that we have here with the music taste at Winchester Uni, doesn't it? Two cities, if you think about it, a uni and a festival that are in cities which are completely polar opposite in taste to the inhabitants of those two establishments, aren't they?
Do you know what's brilliant?
I was going to say, the thing. This is why we keep getting distracted talking about Reading, because it's such a fucking boring lineup.
Yeah,
that we'd rather talk about stabbing people with coats.
Yeah. What do you think of that then? My statement. It seems that Reading has the same problem in terms of its populace and its inhabitants. That Winchester does, when comparing the cities and their general taste to the uni and the festival.
By the way, what was absolutely hilarious is how we were talking about detention. And I know loads of people who go to detention who want to go to Reading.
Yeah.
And it's like
yeah, guys, what do you think of my point then? Just say it.
We are going to get crucified for this podcast.
No, it depends if anyone actually listens to it. We can say 2 hours in, listen to what we think of the Reading lineup.
Oh, if we just
think
this
it's
is
a
the
sack of
last
shit.
podcast.
If we just hashtag enough Dave Mustaine hate, we'll get it.
See, this is going to be my first and last podcast with you guys, because we're going to be
Matt,
vigilante justice.
Okay,
against
yeah,
us.
but anyway, Matt, Alex, do you agree?
What was the question?
University of Winchester and Reading Festival. Two cities with tastes that are polar opposite to these two establishments.
All right, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't really know much about the music taste of Winchester outside of the uni.
Well, if you take a look at, say the Railway, that's pretty much the synonymous pub with our character as a city and our populace.
And it's awesome there. It's awesome for music. It's awesome for poetry.
Yeah.
The thing is, I don't totally dislike. I don't totally dislike Reading. I mentioned actually in the first episode, if you've heard, but I think you've heard it.
Yeah,
I said
I
said I don't go to Reading because I'm not a 16-year-old girl.
Yeah.
Now that doesn't mean that the only people there are 16 years. It's just my brother. My brother went in 2012, and he said to me, most people there were really young girls, really young. Now don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that's not off-putting. We have enough friends who are planning on going to Reading this year, which is cool, and we love and respect these people, right? But I just find that over the years they've had bands there who I love, and they do have the Lock-Up stage, which is full of heavy metal bands. You get likes of Cancer Bats there, who I love.
I love Cancer Bats.
Yeah, Cancer Bats and While She Sleeps. And you've also got, over the years, they've had the likes of System of a Down, Skindred. There's some Green Day I like, when Green Day have headlined. They've also had, I mentioned, they've had loads of metal bands. You've had Deftones there, and you've had Crossfaith there, as I said before. And there are bands playing at Reading that you like.
Yeah.
Maybe not this year, but previous years. I remember 2013, Reading in general had a great lineup.
Metallica played there.
Yeah, Metallica played there last
2013,
year. Yeah, it was 2015. You had Bring Me the Horizon. Regardless of what you think of them, they are still technically overall a metal band. You also, I know they're more suited to Reading than Download, but in the future they will probably be headlining both. And let me think, Architects, they're another band who play both Download and there. Partway Driver there this year. I'm not saying I like all these bands, but these are still hard rock and heavy metal bands.
Yeah. The market is still there.
Yeah, and
it's just niche.
And also, Reading is still a rival festival to Downloads,
of course,
to Bloodstocks.
I don't know. I think it's a slightly different market. Like you were saying, how it's all. You said a few weeks ago. How
commercially, maybe it is, but I would say that you can't be a rival unless you're in the same category.
True.
Yeah. I think the crowd for Reading is the same crowd for Detention.
Yeah.
It's somewhat alternative, but still popular. Like
I'm
not
so
too
glad.
extreme.
I'm so glad they don't play Radioactive at Detention, because if they did, I would leave.
I actually like that song.
Oh, do you? Oh, there you go.
I like Radioactive. It's my jam.
Do you like Imagine Dragons or just that song?
Just that song.
What do you think of Imagine Dragons?
Right.
Do you imagine?
Carry on my wayward song. That was the first Imagine Dragons songs I heard, and believe me, Lois, I regret you telling me about Supernatural.
By the way, that song isn't by that Carry On My Wayward Son is by Kansas, Matt.
Fair play. Well, she mentioned Imagine Dragons in there. I kept getting confused about it. But Lois, my friend from back at Exeter, doesn't say much. But either way, Kansas and Imagine Dragons, they're not my thing. They really just have a tendency to go, whoa, over my head. This isn't really my thing. And I can't believe that you actually want to put stuff like that in Detention.
It's got you. So any final words on Reading?
I'm not going to go.
Okay, I'm going to go if Guns N' Roses are there. If they're not, then I'm not going. Unless... Actually, sorry, man.
I don't care if Guns N' Roses are going there. I will only go and see them if they are on the Isle of Wight or at Download or a festival that I will give credibility to.
Okay, got you. Yeah, we've already had that discussion. They won't be at Download unless they're like us in a tent, which won't happen. Yeah. But with... I'll tell you what, the only other... I mentioned... if Guns N' Roses are there, I'll end up going. But imagine if the final like big announcement for a day or whatever is all bands we love.
Yeah.
Will we get a day ticket? Potentially. You don't know. You can't say or presume anything until it's done.
What, for Reading?
Yeah, because Reading have still got a lot of place left.
Yeah.
I'm definitely... Well, it depends on the circumstances, but imagine if Reading announced, I don't know, Metallica headlining with System subbing with like Disturbed under them, and then you've got like Skin Dread under them, and you've got even imagine if Dream Theater were headlining the second stage.
Oh, I would love Dream Theater to headline anything.
Yeah.
I just very quickly, at festivals, obviously everything is more or less centered around there, with the stages, but are there spaces, just for me to wander around and see, I don't know, like stalls and what have me?
Yes,
Thanks.
there's all that, mate.
Yeah, because I've never actually been there, but I would love to.
No,
just
you'll embrace it, man.
I've never been to Reading. I went to Isle of Wight in 2013.
Oh, did you?
And that demonstrates what you guys were talking about earlier.
I've been to Isle of Wight. I never want to go back to that festival again. As much as I enjoy the music.
I went for one day, the Sunday in 2013. Bon Jovi were there. The script were main support. I was only there for Bon Jovi. Yeah. The rest of it was crap. Didn't like it.
Were Bon Jovi good that day?
Bon Jovi were amazing.
Oh, nice one.
On top of their game, one of the best live performances I've ever been to.
Got you.
But what annoyed me about that was that the script, like I said, script were main support.
And they got a bigger sing-along than Bon Jovi, most probably.
Yeah, this is what happened. Everyone rushes to the stage for the script. I thought, oh God, Bon Jovi's going to be mad.
And it didn't happen. No.
You'd expect that from a Bon Jovi crowd as well.
Yeah, everyone goes.
It's not a Bon Jovi crowd.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Everyone goes to see the script.
I know.
Everyone goes to see the script.
Yeah, people go there to see the script.
The script finish. Everyone pisses off.
Yeah, and you'd expect that sort of reaction for a Bon Jovi crowd, for people to go and see. That's the point I was trying to make. But the script, give me a break and give me a gun.
Yeah.
Or both.
No, give me just a scud. It will make up for not giving me a break. Give me a scud, man.
Just to clarify this to any listeners, Matt saying that is basically him saying he doesn't like them. We don't want to offend anyone with gun references, with Paris attacks and other stuff we've been on about,
and I do support gun control in the States.
Indeed.
In fairness, I've already offended all the listeners by talking about Jefferson Airplane.
Anyway,
So yeah,
let's wrap up.
Let's wrap
all
this
together.
up. Yeah.
All together.
Yeah.
Let's just say that it's been an absolute pleasure having you on.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure to be here.
We may have We may have Matt Mills back next week. Listen to the next episode to find out if he is or not. But it's been absolutely awesome, though. I'll give you that, and it's been a pleasure having you here, man. Have you enjoyed it?
Yeah.
Yeah, this has been great fun. If I get the chance to do this next week, I will be all over that.
Oh, nice.
I'd love this to be a thing.
Nice having a Matt who is also another metaler.
Thank you, man.
Sharing my podium.
Which is brilliant. And next week we will be talking about Bloodstock.
Yeah.
We will also be talking about the Isle of Wight Fest. Do you know why? Because they've actually got a fuckload of legendary punk bands.
Oh, good.
Who I would love to have a download, including Iggy Pop,
Cool.
Nifty.
The Damned.
Cushy.
Yeah. Okay.
Dave
More
Hank.
to reveal next week.
Yep.
But yes, we'll be talking about that. I've made a list here actually.
Cities.
We will be talking about some cities related to rock and roll and popular culture. The ones we will definitely mention that 'cause that's long overdue. That's probably on our list of priorities. We'll be talking about Biffy Clyro, what the three of us think about them, and then they're in the studio at the moment making their latest studio album, which will probably sell very well. We're also going to be talking about our top 5 hard rock and heavy metal bands of all time to finish the episode. We'll also be talking about Machine Head and why we love Rob Flynn. And we will, last but not least, we will talk about Baby Metal because they are headlining Wembley Arena soon and are apparently close to selling it out. So that is a relevant topic. We will also be talking about any news on festival lineups if they come across over the next week. Hopefully, no more sad news.
Yeah.
So,
any more metal news, we'll be covering it.
you name it, and any more. I'm not sure if we will be doing any album reviews, but if we do, we may mention 1 or 2. We will see. Obviously, listen to find this out. So, this is me, Mr. DuPont, out.
This is Matt Mills out.
And this is finally Matanza Mafia-Fedora out.